Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The Jaguars won't know until Sunday if quarterback Trevor Lawrence can start against the Browns. Lawrence is questionable with a high right ankle sprain. Likewise, Cleveland's starting quarterback will be a Sunday decision between the veteran Joe Flacco and rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who's now out of concussion protocol. Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco out for Sunday against the Bills with a shoulder injury. The Eagles and Cowboys play Sunday night. ESPN's Dan Graziano says this is a big game for Dallas.
They're unbeaten at home this year. They not just unbeaten at home, but they destroy people at home. So the idea of them getting home games in the playoffs is, I think, very important for them. I think that gives them a shot to go to the Super Bowl. And if they have to go on the road 3 times, I don't think they do. So, I think it's more important for Dallas.
Lions center Frank Ragnow is out for Sunday's game against the Bears. He's missed practice all week with knee, back, and toe injuries. The Falcons are down 3 starters for Sunday against the Buccaneers: Nate Landman, David Onyemata, and Caleb McGarry.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Monday, Tyreek Hill, MVP. I'll tell you why this could be the year a non-quarterback should win the MVP award. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, and we are live from Legends in Manhattan. This is going to be a really, really fun 3 hours. It's already been a really fun 24 hours since we touched down on Thursday evening. We'll spend the next 3 hours basically setting the stage for what's going to happen on Saturday night here in New York City. Jayden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 Heisman Trophy finalists. Everyone expecting that Jayden Daniels will claim college football's most prestigious award and, quite honestly, the most prestigious individual award in all of sports. But that'll wait until 8 o'clock local time tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central time before we know. We got a lot to do. We'll talk to LSU quarterback coach Joe Sloan in about 15 minutes. LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock will be with us in hour number 3. We'll have boots on the ground reports. Justin Vincent will be here. He's already here. Bunnie Cannon, of course, the daughter of the late Dr. Billy Cannon, LSU's first Heisman Trophy winner, will be with us here on site in about 30 minutes from right now. So we got a ton to do, and we're so thrilled to be here from Legends, which, for those that don't know, if you've never been to Manhattan, or if you've never been to Legends, literally we're on West 33rd Street. If you walk out of Legends and just look straight up, you were looking right up the Empire State Building. So I mean, as I'm sitting, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you, or on WBTR, you're seeing Legend. It's a 3-story bar, by the way. You're seeing Legends behind me. I'm at the front window. I'm looking right out directly at the entrance to the Empire State Building. So it is a really, really cool place to do a radio show, or in this case, radio video. So we appreciate everybody who's helped make this happen. Of course, Acura Baton Rouge Insurance Network of Louisiana and Community Steel, our 3 sponsors that have made this whole broadcast and this whole weekend in New York City possible. Let me start, if I could, by kind of giving you a little bit of a recap of how the day has gone for the finalists and what this has been like. And I've tried to chronicle all of this on social media as best I could. So if you want to follow along with my social media or 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, you can do that. Earlier today, so Jayden Daniels on Thursday was in Baltimore receiving the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award trophy. So from Baltimore, Jayden flew straight to New York. The rest of the LSU contingent arrived earlier today at 10 o'clock local time this morning, so 9 o'clock Central. It's kind of funny that Jayden Daniels had to go to New York to go to Raising Cane's, but when the original Raising Cane's is on LSU's campus. But at 10 o'clock this morning, they had a big photo shoot, and all of the candidates. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't participate, but it was Jayden, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix. They were all at Raising Cane's in Times Square, which is a gorgeous location right there in the heart of Times Square. And, boy, the line was out the door already, maybe half an hour before the 10 o'clock start time. And so they filmed some commercials, which you'll see. Todd Graves was there as well. So you'll get to see the commercials, no doubt, air, and filmed a lot of content. The guys, served Cane's orders and everything. And then they had a brief media availability with the media. That lasted an hour. The players then went back to the hotel for a little rest. There was more media availability with the players at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we left there to come straight here. And it was interesting. It was sort of a media scrum where all 4 players had their own table, and then media could go up as necessary. What was most interesting to me, and this is the most telling, and this is probably how things have changed with the advent of the mobile betting sites and betting odds being so attainable. If you go, I tweeted. I probably should share the pictures of all 4, but I wouldn't want to do it at the risk of embarrassing the other players. But each of the 4 players had their own table, and there was a gaggle of reporters around Jayden Daniels, probably 30 or 40 reporters. The other 3 players with their representative media maybe had a half dozen. And it's just evident of what everyone assumes is the reality that Jayden Daniels is going to win this. So, media from the Pacific Northwest didn't necessarily travel all the way across the country for Michael Penix or Bo Nix to finish runner-up. I think everyone understands Marvin Harrison Jr., the 4th invitee, is not going to win this award, and so you don't really have much of an Ohio State presence here either. But all of the Baton Rouge, LSU, Louisiana media outlets are represented here. As for Jayden, when he spoke to reporters earlier, the first thing he was asked was, when he realized that winning the Heisman Trophy was going to be a real possibility, and his preseason odds were plus 1,100 thereabouts. For those that don't know, that would mean if you bet $100, you would win 1,100. So he had long odds to start the season. And, of course, LSU lost the season opener to Florida State. And then they lost again to Ole Miss. And it felt fleeting, even with all of the statistics that he was putting up. And then after Bama, it certainly felt like it was gone. But Jayden was asked when he realized this was a possibility for him to be here and to win this award.
After the Florida game, because before you hear your name and stuff in the Heisman and contention and stuff like that, but probably after the Florida game, that's when I was like, okay, I have a real shot at being a finalist.
So it was interesting too because each of the other candidates was asked for their own Heisman moment for the other player, and this was at the Raising Cane's event this morning. And Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way, did not participate. I'm not exactly sure why they didn't disclose why he wasn't there at the Cane's event earlier. But each of them all were asked to name the other player's Heisman moment. And Nix and Penix both said the Florida game. And, I think when you think about Heisman moments, and even for any LSU fan that were to rewind the clock and you think back to 1959, and most of us weren't even alive then, but Billy Cannon, we always think about the Halloween run, right? We think about the Halloween run against Ole Miss, and that is one of the most iconic, most famous plays, not only in LSU history, but quite literally in the history of college football. If you look at any list of the most famous plays in the history of college football, somewhere on the very short list, you'll have, the Stanford Cal, the band is on the field, Flutie to Phelan, the Hail Mary in 1984. You're not going to go very long before you get to Billy Cannon's Halloween run. It's just one of the most famous, iconic plays in the history of college sports. When you think about Joe Burrow's Heisman season in 2019, he had so many incredible moments. We think about 3rd and 17 against Texas. Most people think the punctuation was the oop-de-oop scramble against Georgia in the SEC championship game where he found Justin Jefferson downfield. That was the oh my God type moment that runs on highlight reels and we see forever. For Jayden Daniels, 50 years from now, when they're playing the highlight reel of Jayden Daniels' golden anniversary of him winning the Heisman Trophy, of 25 years, the silver anniversary of him winning the Heisman Trophy, you think, what play, what game are they going to show? And it's probably going to be that Florida game. It's probably going to be the 85-yard run around left end against Florida, the 51-yard run up the middle. Like, that's probably what you're going to see is him running the ball in that game, because that was the game where very clearly he established himself doing something that had never been done before in the FBS, which is 350 passing and 200 rushing in a single game. And I'm not going to say I don't like hyperbole, and I don't want to speak in absolutes, but that's something that it feels like we could go a long time without ever seeing again. To have a quarterback dynamic enough to run for 200 yards in a game, but also in that game have the necessity of throwing for 350. But that's where Jayden Daniels is. By the way, speaking of Joey B., Jayden was asked if he had heard from Joe Burrow, and he had. Here's what Jayden said earlier today about his convo with Joe Burrow.
He reached out to me yesterday, just give me words of encouragement and stuff like that, just wishing me the best. He said you're going to be doing a lot, so get your mind prepared. So, he was very straightforward about it. He was like, just enjoy every little moment, because these are moments you can't get back.
That's very true. Jayden did tell reporters earlier today, by the way, that he does have a speech prepared. So he's already got a speech written in the event that he wins, which we all expect he will. But we'll look forward to hearing that tomorrow night around 9 o'clock local time, 8 o'clock in Baton Rouge. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with 30 offices across 11 different states. There's a Michelli Weighing and Measurement office near you. Flew yesterday, went to the airport, put my luggage on the scale, 42 pounds, because I never even come close to the 50-pound mark. My wife does it every time. We always have to undo the suitcase. But those scales are so accurate because Michelli calibrates them and sells them. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, our nation's largest distributor of scales, but it's not just scales. Precision measurement equipment. They will calibrate that equipment. For a full list of all that they do, go to the website. 76 years, y'all. 76 years. What an amazing success story to be in business for 76 years, maintaining their local identity and continuing to grow. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, it is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are at Legends in Manhattan on West 33rd, quite literally in the shadow of the Empire State Building. And we're glad to have you aboard with us here. The LSU Alumni Party is going to be taking place here tonight from 4 to 6 Central, 5 to 7 local time here Eastern. So as we move throughout the show, there will be right now there's a soccer match going on. I don't even know who this is playing. Bo, maybe you can find out and tell me. But Juve is beating Nap 1-0. And the people here are very much in favor of Juve because, man, when Juve scored a bit ago, they went nuts. So anyway. But the soccer crowd, I'm assuming, will be overtaken by the purple and gold crowd here within the next hour or so. All right, we're glad to have you aboard with us here from Legends. Our coverage all throughout this Heisman presentation brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan is going to join us via phone from Baton Rouge. We're looking forward to that convo. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO. That's glowresources.com. They are a complete employer solution. So when I talk about Glow Resources, remember, if you're a business owner, Glow Resources isn't a temp staffing agency. For a lot of businesses, when you call on a temp staffing agency, it's a last resort. It's, man, we have this job coming up. We got to get people. Call a temp staffing agency. At Glow, they want to be your first resort. They want to get you qualified candidates that are going to last. They want to place people with their clients, you, the business owner, that will be there for longevity, for the duration. It's Glow Resources. They're complete employer solutions. Check them out online at glowresources.com. That's GLO, glowresources.com. And yes, while they're based in Baton Rouge, they can service anywhere in the country or the world. Offices in Miami and Orlando and Houston and New Orleans. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at gloresources.com. That's glowresources.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Back from Legends in Manhattan, right in the shadow of the Empire State Building. Not many blocks from here, just about 20 blocks or so north. Tomorrow, Jayden Daniels, we are all expecting to be crowned the Heisman Trophy winner, and a guy who has played a big part in his development as LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan is good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Joe, it's great to have you, man. Thanks so much for the time. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Look, I mean, you're obviously still a relatively young coach, right? I mean, do you at any point, did you at any point in your career have this as a goal, like to be able to tutor a Heisman Trophy winner? Like, is that something you even consider?
You know, I mean, obviously, reflecting on it here recently, it's really special. Talking to different friends of mine who either are in the coaching profession or, close family friends or whatever that follow football and understand kind of what this is all about. It definitely reminds you that it's a pretty unique situation and pretty special situation. I don't know that I would say like, I had this goal. I think probably usually my goal is to make the players that are under my charge the absolute best that they can be. Well, at LSU and having a quarterback at LSU like Jayden Daniels, and you make it, you help guide him and watch him be the absolute best he could be, and these are the kind of things that follow.
Hey, go back, if you would, to Jayden's recruitment. I guess you were hired in January of 22. He committed to LSU, I guess about 3 months later, thereabouts. Do you remember the conversations you had with him while he was in the portal leaving Arizona State and what that was like trying to get him to Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I mean, some of them. I mean, he had a ton of interest in LSU because he saw, obviously he had played a lot of college football, and Jayden's a football guy, football junkie. He understood what LSU was all about, and I think he was interested in the opportunity to come compete here because he knew what type of players he would be around, and he knew what type of environment, and what it would be like on a daily basis. And I think that's kind of what attracted him to this place. And we just told him what type of system we were going to run, based on what Coach Denbrock had done in the past and what we felt like we were going to do here in the future, and what Coach Kelly was going to do with the program, and how things were going to be on a day-to-day basis, and how we would coach them. And then the opportunity to come in and compete. And he saw that. And I think it was a pretty clear decision for him at that time. I don't know that it was an easy decision, but I think it was a clear decision.
Joe Sloan is with us. I'm leading you somewhere, but I'm curious if you have any first impressions of what struck you about Jayden Daniels, both the person and the player. Let's start with the player. Like, when you first saw him, what struck you about Jayden, the player?
I would say, as a player, I think he's an extremely well-rounded player, and thoughtful player. He definitely is. He has a great mental side to his game, and I think but obviously the easy answer is obviously his excitement and explosiveness and his ability to be dynamic, right? But I definitely think you could see pretty quickly that he's a pretty well-rounded player. I mean, I think definitely probably his feet and how quick and well he moved in the pocket. Not running, talking about just his footwork and being on time, getting the ball out on time. Definitely some of those things that kind of struck me early.
What about the person? Well,
I think, and it's obviously said a lot, and I've said it a few times, but he's definitely calm and collected. He isn't fazed by different things in big moments, and I think you see that just when you meet him. When he gives off first impressions, you definitely can see that, and I think that was definitely evident early.
Mm. Joe Sloan is with us. So the reason I asked it is one of the I guess, and this isn't, I don't want to say a criticism, that sounds like a negative, but one of the things that Jayden even himself acknowledged that he wanted to work on was accuracy. And I remember vividly going out to fall camp last year before the 22 season, and I remember you working with the quarterbacks on these, what appeared to me anyway, like really odd accuracy drills, like trying to hit the upright on the goalpost or the crossbar, or you'd have like a basket set up in the corner of the end zone. It was just target practice. Like, how much I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it was clearly intentional. And how much progression have you seen as far as that accuracy, which is, I believe, the thing that probably catapulted Jayden to his elite levels this year?
Yeah, I think playing quarterback is, and for him, and kind of the piece of playing quarterback that you're specifically talking about, is being able, one, you have to be able to just make the throws on command, right? Like, if everything's clean in the pocket, can I throw this 10-yard out route? Can I throw this fade from the 15 to the field corner? Can I throw this fade from the 8 to the boundary corner? Can I throw this, whatever that might be, right? You have to be able to make those, what I call spot throws on command, right? So you have to be able to throw to that spot. Then you add in moving targets, you add in read, you add in pocket movement. Well, a lot of that also is thought process and being on time within the play, based on what the defense does to you, right? So you have to take the combination of understanding what you're being asked to do in your assignment, right, and what the defense is telling you where the ball needs to go, and now you have to be accurate just on the exact spot throw at the right time. I hope that kind of explains it all. It's like to me, they all three have to fit together, right? And that's what I think he worked so hard on. Probably this off season, I think he was extremely intentional, and I think this was with the help of our staff, and in setting up a plan to be very intentional about all those things and letting those things come together throughout his work. If you try to work on everything at once, right, that doesn't work, right? You have to be thoughtful and intentional about your work, and I think that's what he did. And he was really focused in the moment. Hey, if I'm out throwing, I'm gonna work on X, Y, and Z. And when I'm in the meeting room, I'm gonna work on ABC, and then I'm gonna combine those two mentally in my head and put myself in those situations. And I think that prepared him for spring ball. And you saw the improvement there, and then it kind of kept on going.
Joe, when did you think what's going to happen this week? We're all assuming, right, that this is going to happen tomorrow. When did you really start to think or believe, like, yeah, this is going to happen? Jayden's going to win the Heisman.
I would say, one, going into the season, I obviously felt like the preparation he had was showing up in practice. And if it showed up on Saturdays, if his practice, the way he was practicing, showed up on Saturdays, then I knew he would have a legit shot to be one of the best players in the country. I'm trying to think, as you go through some of the games, was there like a certain game? I don't know, maybe after the Auburn game, because I think we got to, you get after the Auburn game, and that was kind of near the bye week, and you knew he had gotten through the, a little over halfway the part of the season, and had played extremely well consistently. Really every game. I mean, I know there were a couple things at the beginning of the year would have loved to adjust, but really played pretty consistently throughout that time. So I think at that point, I knew he had put himself in a great position. And then obviously coming off the field after the Florida game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unique. And really last year, the Florida game is what kind of catapulted his second half. And this year, the Florida game is really what kind of catapulted his Heisman Trophy chances.
Is Joe Sloan, LSU quarterbacks coach, obviously had a big hand in Jayden Daniels' development, and excited to see what the future is going to hold for Garrett Nussmeier and whatever it may come at the LSU quarterback position. But pat yourself on the back, man. You're coming up to New York tomorrow, yes?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I would assume this will be your first time at the Heisman presentation?
You're assuming correctly, Matt.
I mean, Joe, there's only going to be like 100 people in the room. Like it's a crazy small deal, man. So I think
and they invited me. How about that? Huh?
No, trust me, you're well deserving of being in there. Schmucks like me have to stand on the outside and watch on a TV somewhere, which is perfectly fine. I'm thrilled to be here, man. But hey, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Safe travels and congrats. I believe you and many others played a giant part in this and deserve congratulations and all that's been accomplishment.
I think there's definitely so many people. Obviously credit to Coach Kelly and what he's doing here at LSU and just the structure that he lays out. And Mike Denbrock and what he's done with our offense. And I think you look at his history when he's in charge of offenses and calling offenses, what quarterbacks can do in those positions. And I think there's so many other people in the building, who help in terms of there's countless names. But when ultimately it comes down to, we can set a plan, we can coach, we can instruct, we can help be a mirror for these guys, and tell them what they need to improve on. But ultimately, the credit definitely goes to the hard work that Jayden put in, the leadership that he showed, the hard work he put in with his teammates. And then, to be resilient and be consistent with his process week in and week out, and to show up and play the way that he did consistently and with the schedule that we have and in this conference, I just think speaks volumes to him. And I couldn't be more proud, and he deserves everything that he has coming to him.
Well said. Joe Sloan, LSU quarterbacks coach. Hey, man, we appreciate you so much for taking a couple of minutes. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Thanks, Matt.
It's our pleasure. Joe Sloan. Looking forward to having Coach Denbrock with us as well in hour number 3, so we'll get to do that. Listen, they've assembled a great young staff, man. Real quick, reminder about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I have another thought on Joe Sloan I'll get to here in a second. TheAntiAgingClinics.com, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Holidays around the bend. Listen, a lot of people tend to – look, I mean – We eat, we drink, we be merry, we celebrate, we gain weight. If you want to get a jump start on your New Year's resolution, they can help. Semaglutide is available. You've heard about it. They got it at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Joe Sloan is 37 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So, he is a young coach, a relatively young coach in the sense of the word, but obviously with tremendous experience already. He's a great recruiter, and as I understand it, is recruiting right now on camp. He literally stepped out of a recruiting visit to take that phone call to join us here. But a guy who gets it, a guy who really gets the all-encompassing nature of that job, and it's no small part in Jayden's physical development and maturation as a quarterback that Joe Sloan played. He deserves a lot of credit. And I'm glad he's going to get to make that trip tomorrow up here to New York to be in the room when one of his pupils is crowned Heisman Trophy winner. Okay, we are at Legends on West 33rd in Manhattan. Our coverage here from New York City is brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. We certainly appreciate those three businesses for making our broadcast here possible today and tomorrow, making this trip to bring you all this content possible. So we appreciate them greatly. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, LSU will have its third Heisman Trophy winner crowned on Saturday. Of course, the first Heisman Trophy winner, Dr. Billy Cannon, no longer with us, left us 5 years ago, but his daughter Bunnie Cannon is here, and she's going to join us on site at Legends, and we're really looking forward to that conversation. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Y'all, the weekend's upon us. Maybe you're thinking about brunch, Saturday or Sunday brunch, the Watermark or the Renaissance. You got the Gregory at the Watermark downtown and Tallulah inside the Renaissance right there, Southtown on Bluebonnet, sort of between the mall and Perkins Road. You know where the Renaissance is. And even if you're thinking about getting downtown, but you're like, downtown, it's hard to park, complimentary valet parking at the Watermark if you're going to eat at the Gregory. So don't let that deter you. It's complimentary valet parking. Feel like a high roller. You pull right up to the door, they take your car and go park it for you. You walk right into the Gregory. It's the Gregory inside of the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. Hey, for your next party or gathering, if you have to host an event, both are amazing properties to do that. Call my friend Allison Crump at the Renaissance Hotel. She'll take care of you. As they always say, they're in the business of saying yes. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge. Catch the Moon Griffon Show weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on Talk 107.3.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
4 years ago, when Joe Burrow hoisted the Heisman Trophy, that marked 60 years between LSU winners. Of course, it was 1959 when Dr. Billy Cannon won the Heisman, and then 60 years later, Joe Burrow. And it felt for many LSU fans like we were never going to get to see another Heisman winner. And now, 2 times in a matter of 4 years or 5 seasons, we're likely going to see that with Jayden Daniels. It's a pleasure to have Bunnie Cannon, Dr. Billy Cannon's daughter, here with us on site at Legends in Manhattan. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Glad to be here.
I bet you are. I know you and I have had a chance to talk a lot over the years. I'll start with an easy softball. What's it like for you to be here for this?
Oh, it's unbelievable. You can't even describe it. I knew that I was going to come probably about a month ago. I called to see if I could get the tickets to come. And obviously they said yes, and so I booked my ticket. I think my ticket here was only like $150.
So when you
so,
did
yeah,
it's way more now. Like, one of the things I didn't realize is this weekend and next are maybe like the 2 busiest weekends in Manhattan of the year because of people come for the Christmas tree.
Christmas shopping and
all
everything, yeah.
And there's SantaCon tomorrow, by the way. Did you hear about that?
No, but
oh, yes.
I can't wait to see that.
There's going to be bajillions of people running around in Santa costumes around Manhattan tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's hilarious.
That's going to be that'll be a sight to behold.
Be something to watch.
So, we were talking, though, and for so long, for 60 years, your dad was LSU's only Heisman winner. Yeah. What was it like for him, for your family, to hold that distinction so low for so long?
It was an honor. I think that's the thing that he would say first and foremost is it was an absolute honor. He loved LSU and he loved his teammates, and by him winning, it was a way for him to always celebrate his teammates. But he always said that, I'm the only one yet. And he kept waiting and kept waiting. And he passed away May 20th of 2018, and it's the same weekend that Joe Burrow came to sign. And I like to think he kind of gave a wink and a nod, went home, and gave it to Joe.
That is amazing synergy, and I did remember that because I've heard you say that before, and that timing, the way that worked out. And, of course, Joe went on to win it. One of the things that I remember most about that whole weekend was the letter that you, your family, wrote to Joe Burrow, and I think LSU did a great job documenting that. I believe he opened the letter and read it on the plane on the flight to New York. Can you walk me through why you all as a family felt compelled to do that?
Because that's what he would have done. He wanted to share this with them so bad. He wanted people in his fraternity. And it's much like a fraternity here. You come and they honor you and they honor the families year after year. Mm-hmm. So I can come back every year and still see those winners, and they embrace you just like he was here. But he would have loved to have shared this honor with somebody. And he kept waiting and kept waiting, and we thought it was going to be Leonard Fournette. And he said that year, if they're not going to give it to Leonard, they shouldn't give it. Yeah. And then with Tyrann Mathieu, and we just kept waiting and waiting, and we'd make plane reservations, and then it wouldn't come to fruition. But he would have loved to have a conversation with these two gentlemen. That's I think what I would want to see most.
Yeah. Why would he have loved to have had a conversation with them?
Because of his love for LSU, but not just that, the love of the sport, the love of the game. And, these kids, what people don't understand is that this is their life, and they spend thousands and thousands of hours doing this at their families, at the risk of their families and their personal lives. And They don't have hobbies, and this is what they do. And what do they say, 10,000 hours of something makes you a professional?
Right.
And these kids put in, I don't know how many hours, and I think it's just the dedication that they put in to get to this place. And the fact that now they can transfer in and they have a spot at LSU, and LSU is looking for these kids to come in and make a name for themselves. Icing on the cake would be if we win national champions, but
yeah,
maybe next year.
Bunnie Cannon is with us, daughter of the late Dr. Billy Cannon, LSU's first Heisman winner. One of the things that when you say it strikes me, because you said that he wanted to share this with somebody. So many athletes love the thrill of victory, the chase of being the best, number one, standing alone, having a record. It is interesting though that he wanted to share that and not just be the one. Why do you suspect that was?
A lot of people think they know him, and they really didn't. He was not one of those. It wasn't about him. It was about his team. And the team that he played with in 56 through 59, they were kids from all over, primarily Baton Rouge. They didn't have a penny to their name, and it was all about the team. And I think there's a quote. He says a quote, if you do it all in the team's name, you'll have your day in the sun, or something like that. We put that on his statue, the quote on his statue. Yeah. But he was all about the team, and I just think that he wanted another group of people that would understand, because forever these kids are going to be known as Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels' wife and his kids and his grandkids are going to be known as not whatever their name is, but Jayden Daniels' granddaughter.
Right.
Or granddaughter of Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
And so forever his life is going to be changed. And, I wrote a letter to him, too. I just haven't had the opportunity to give it to him yet.
I was going to ask, have you had a chance to meet Jayden yet?
I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I can't wait to meet him. I'm going to meet him tomorrow. He's not going to know who I am from Adam, but I'm going to go up there and introduce myself. So.
Are you going to be at the ceremony?
Yes.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. So I guess direct family of winners can attend for.
They can. And also, they have grandsons, granddaughters coming back now from the older guys that are working the events. And that's how I started. I started working the events when I was here. I think I was working somewhere at LSU, and we would have events every Christmas in New York. And I would always hold it over a couple of days so I could stay and work the events, check in name tags or whatever. And it's literally, the only way I can describe it is like a fraternity.
Yeah.
And they all love seeing each other, and they're like little kids when they get up there. I mean, you're going to see them, whoever wins tomorrow. Well, let me say that. When Jayden wins tomorrow,
right.
They're going to embrace him and bring him up there and be patting him, and it's really incredible to watch.
You're right. I mean, forever and ever you were known as Heisman Trophy winner.
Good and bad.
It's
good and bad.
It is the prefix that will follow a winner forever. Before you go, I remember back in 2015, I had a chance to sit down with your dad for an hour on the show, and it was for me. One of the as someone who grew up in Louisiana, grew up loving LSU, went to LSU. Every conversation forever around LSU started with Billy Cannon. Right. It's just the Halloween run, 1959, LSU's first national championship in 1950. It was just Billy Cannon. That's where every conversation ever started. And so to have had the opportunity to sit and talk to him for an hour, not many people. People got pictures and autographs and told stories where they were, but to sit and talk for an hour was a truly rare occurrence. And I'm thrilled to have had that. But we did that in conjunction with the book that Charles de Gravel wrote at that time. I know people are still picking up the book, but what else? You were telling me that you all are working on other projects as well.
We are. So before I pass away, which hopefully will be a long time from now.
Oh, you got a long run, Bunnie.
We've been working the last 5 years on a movie about him, and it's primarily about who everybody thinks they knew who he was, but nobody really knows. And so we're working on a movie that's going to tell the story about the last 25 years of his life and what he did with the prison system and what he did with his trustee Roosevelt and the difference that they made with those people's lives. And, he went through the problems in the 80s, and because of that, he was able to do some really fantastic things. And it's going to go back and talk about football and highlight LSU, and hopefully it will be really good. We're in the revision stage of the screenplay. So that's taken 5 years, so I don't know how long it's going to take, but stay tuned because it's really going to be a magnificent story. I think that a lot of young kids and young athletes can learn a lot from.
And you all want to sponsor an award as well?
Yeah, we're trying to do a national trophy in his name, the Billy Cannon Memorial, most transformational play in a school year, because the Halloween run was a transformational play. So if we can do something like that, you know, I don't know how to do it all yet, but we've been working with the Baton Rouge Area Foundation and trying to get some things set up, and then LSU Athletics has been very receptive and open. So if it all works out, stay tuned. We may be able to do this again somewhere else, and maybe bring people to Baton Rouge.
Wow. You don't know this because you got here as we were starting the show, and I know you were standing over there because you weren't able to listen, but we opened the show talking about sort of Jayden was asked, his Heisman moment and stuff like that. And it's so true that I mentioned that, Dr. Cannon's run, and when you think about the short list in the history of the sport we all love, of the greatest plays, you think about, Stanford and Cal, the band is on the field. You think about Flutie to Phelan with the Hail Mary in 1984. And either at the top or not far down the list, people are going to mention Halloween night 1959. I mean, it is on the short list, if not the greatest play in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see an award like that. That would be incredible to see it all.
I would love to watch the film that would come in. To see everybody who's done all these transformational plays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully we can do that, and we can do a few more things. We're looking at a virtual museum with all of his memorabilia.
Awesome.
A lot of different things to just remember old number 20. He would love it.
He'll never be forgotten. That's as long as people keep playing college football, that's for sure. Bunnie, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for remembering him.
It is our pleasure to have you here. That is Bunnie Cannon, of course, daughter of the late Dr. Billy Cannon, LSU's first Heisman Trophy winner, and that fraternity will grow, and no doubt Dr. Cannon smiling down tomorrow night here in Manhattan. We'll knock out a quick break and come back and wrap up hour number one. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros for you. We'll have Around the SEC for you from back in studio. We're glad you're with us. It is a Friday edition of AFR from Manhattan. We're brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I want to remind you, get 2 more days. Get 2 more days. Our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air are doing an awesome thing this Christmas. They are adopting 3 families, 3 less fortunate families, to help make their Christmas a little brighter for them and for their kiddos. So if you know a family in need that would be a great recipient of some generosity and goodwill this Christmas, you can email christmas@onehourbr.com, spell it out, O-N-E, christmas@onehourbr.com, and nominate that family. For all the info on how to nominate, the information to include, you can go to their Facebook page. It's at River City's 1 Hour Air, or you can call them at 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air help making Christmas a little brighter for some families in need this Christmas season. River City's 1 Hour Air.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find him on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Two more LSU football players hit the transfer portal today, Marlon Martinez and Quincy Wiggins. Also, LSU did pick up a commitment from Evangel defensive lineman Gabriel Relaford. We expected that, but that became official today. I'm going to give you some full reaction to that coming up next hour. Justin Vincent, former Tiger great, All-American running back, he's here as well. He'll be with us in about 10 minutes from right now. Right now, though, we do it usually a little earlier than this, but let's do it right now. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in Imaging Solutions. Excellence in Imaging Solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama defensive lineman Isaiah Hastings is in the transfer portal after limited playing time. Appeared in just one game in 2 seasons in Tuscaloosa. Hastings ranked as the number 151 overall recruit in the 2022 class. He's the 4th Alabama player to enter the portal and will have 3 seasons of eligibility remaining at his next stop.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
A couple to get to here for Arkansas. First, the good news. Leading receiver Andrew Armstrong is returning for one more season. He announced that earlier today on social media. Led the Razorbacks with 56 grabs for 764 yards and 5 touchdowns. Also started every game. Massed over 2,000 career yards so far in his 3 years in college and 21 touchdowns. The bad news, other wide receiver Bryce Stevens, well, he's entering the NCAA transfer portal. Third-year sophomore for the Razorbacks. 12 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown. That was across 3 seasons. Did not have any production and just played in 3 games in 2023. Stevens is the 14th Arkansas Razorback to enter the transfer portal.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
The portal keeps portaling as Georgia linebacker Xavier Sori enters. Redshirting his freshman year in 21. Saw action mostly as a reserve for the Bulldogs the past 2 years. Was a 4-star prospect out of IMG in the 2021 cycle, and he makes 10 Georgia Bulldogs in the transfer portal.
The Kentucky Wildcats. The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky running back Ray Davis declared for the NFL draft at the end of November, but on Thursday evening announced that he will play in the Gator Bowl versus Clemson on December the 29th. Davis earned second-team All-SEC honors this year after a 1,066-yard rushing season and 13 touchdowns. Also caught 317 yards worth of passes and 7 touchdowns. For a senior coming off his second consecutive 1,000-yard rushing year in the SEC.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Back to the portal. Edge Tyler Barron from Volunteers. He entered today. Been with Tennessee for the last 4 seasons. Immense talent, but only 102 tackles, 13.5 sacks, and 4 pass deflections of the forced fumble over 4 years. He's from Tennessee. Was part of the 2020 class, 4-star prospect, and now searching for greener pastures.
Texas A&M!
And lastly, a couple A&M players today declared for the NFL draft. defensive lineman McKinley Jackson declared 40 games, 15.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks in his career. And wideout Anaya Smith declared for the draft as well, coming off a season where he caught 795 yards worth of passes and scored 2 touchdowns. That's around the SEC.
Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Big shout out to our guy Trey Beal and all our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lafayette. Same-day service. Worst-case scenario, they get to you next day at 10 a.m. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, the Cajuns, and the Baton Rouge Zydeco. We are at Legends in Manhattan on West 33rd Street, directly across the street from the Empire State Building, and just about 20 blocks or so from where Jayden Daniels will hoist the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night. We're excited to be here. Former Tiger great Justin Vincent will be with us on site here at Legends when we come back right after the top of the hour. Also, Mike Denbrock, LSU offensive coordinator, will be with us at the top of hour number 3. So very much looking forward to that chat with Mike Denbrock about this offense, this prolific LSU offense, how it all came together around its centerpiece, Jayden Daniels, who we fully expect to win the Heisman Trophy. Hour number 2 is next.
AFR.
As we put a button here in hour number 1, quick reminder about our friends over at Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. It's pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. If you have mold, Pure Restoration. Think you might have mold? Pure Restoration. Odors from pets, cigarettes, urine, maybe it's a workout facility, a gym, a locker room at a school or an athletic club. You want to sanitize, get rid of that odor, Pure Restoration. It's so easy. It's more cost-effective, and it's going to be more efficient. Most of the time, they'll come in, single-family home, a business, they'll dry fog half a day, you're done. You're back in, completely you're re-inhabiting those buildings. It's Pure Restoration. Learn more online at pure-restoration.com. Full U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report on Pure Restoration, their patented non-toxic dry fog. Learn more, again, online about Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Hurry into your local Acura dealer for the Season of Performance event going on now.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Jaguars won't know until Sunday if quarterback Trevor Lawrence will play against the Browns. He's been limited in practice and is listed as questionable with a high right ankle sprain. Meanwhile, the Browns also won't name a starting QB until Sunday. Joe Flacco started the last game, but rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson is now out of concussion protocol and practiced today. It'll be the Lakers and the Pacers in the final of the new NBA in-season tournament tomorrow night in Las Vegas. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver.
Whether this is the perfect execution or not, and it's not, I mean, we'll learn from this. I think it's not just about this in-season tournaments, or like it opens people's eyes. People who resisted change at all are saying, you know, okay, we get it.
Adam Silver on the NBA on ESPN Radio, where you can hear the title game tomorrow night starting at 8 Eastern. It's also on ABC TV. Today, the U.S. and Mexico submit a bid to co-host the 2027 Women's World Cup. There are 2 other bids also being considered.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're at Legends in Manhattan. Our coverage all week brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. Thanks so much to those great sponsors for making our broadcast here possible. Jayden Daniels has had a whirlwind day from he and the other Heisman finalists at Raising Cane's in Times Square this morning to a media availability to a private tour of the city, which good luck getting around the city while Santa Con and everything's going on here right now. I mean, the holidays in New York City, but it's beautiful, and a coronation is going to take place tomorrow here in Manhattan. We're glad to be here for it. Justin Vincent, former Tiger grade All-American running back, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here on site. How are you, JV?
Good, man. It's a little nippy out here, but yeah, it's good.
That's one of the things. Like, I had one of the first purchases I made here wasn't an Uber, it was a hat. I totally forgot to bring one of my.
That head would be cooking out there.
Oh, dude, a bald head in 30-degree weather ain't a good recipe.
It's like having chapped lips.
I'd rather chapped lips over a freezing cold head. I mean, that's just the way that's going to go. You were here in 19 for Joe Burrow. To be back so soon. I mean, look, you played, and there's something to be said for, like, kicking the door open and making it possible. Did you think it would be this soon to be back with another one?
No, I thought I saw it. I thought that was it.
That was
it. You know, everybody gets their one, and I hate to, like, bag on my Saints fans out there, but you probably saw your last Super Bowl. So I thought I saw my last one.
Hey,
my last Heisman winner.
I'm going to live a long time, JV. I'm going to see another one at some point, all right? And at least we got one.
Yeah, no doubt. That's all that matters.
I don't know if it's all that matters, but it's a big part of what matters. Hey, but you know one of the comps that I've given, I'm curious your thoughts on this. So a lot of people, when I'll go on shows in other markets or whatever, and they'll ask about this, because LSU for a decade was a quarterback wasteland. It just was. I mean, it was the nature of the way that LSU played, and you have to have great stat compilers at quarterback to be able to win a Heisman. It's just generally the way it's going to go. And it took Joe kind of showing you can come win a Heisman at LSU to kind of kick the door open. And I've compared it a lot to the 03 championship because it was 45 years, man. And it felt like an unattainable goal. And when you all did it in 03, it was like, okay, we can do this. And then 4 years later, got another one, and then was back in it 4 years after that, and won it again in 19. That's just sort of the expectation. Do you see those parallels, or do you think it's different because it's an individual award, not a team deal?
No, I think it's combined. Obviously, it is an individual award, but Jayden doesn't get there if the O-line didn't block him. Jayden doesn't get there if he doesn't have some good receivers that can track the ball down and make plays for him after the catch. He's also very dynamic in himself, but for somebody to have a NCAA record of 12,000 yards rushing and 3,000 yards, 12,000 yards passing, 3,000 yards rushing, 49 touchdowns, that's pretty dang on special. And I kind of compare him to Joe a little bit because in 18, Joe was like, he was good, but he wasn't 19 Joe.
Yeah.
And Jayden, he was serviceable last year. This year, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could see the difference, and whether it's the film study, whether he, worked on his weaknesses or whatever it is, it was one of those things where you saw a big turnaround. It's night and day. And just on little things. I think he was already dynamic because anybody who watched him at Arizona State knew he can chunk the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You watched him play that Oregon team on that Friday night, I think it was, and he lit the scoreboard up. He can throw it, but then he adds in the aspect of running. Because he looks like he's not going anywhere, but his long strides, they make up some ground.
It is amazing to watch guys not the Florida run, the 85-yarder where he kind of was up the sideline and veered back toward the middle. The most amazing thing is when he was cutting back toward the middle, he was slowing. He had to slow as he was going at an angle, and they weren't catching him as he was still slowing. That's one of those things where I would remember John Brinkus used to do the sports science thing?
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see a sports science on that run. Top speed, what he decelerated to, that to me was incredible. Is there a play this year that you think of like the Heisman moment? Everyone mentions the Florida game, which of course, did something that's never been done in the history of the sport. Was there another moment that you can remember going, God, that's different?
The play that you're talking about to me, and obviously you just said people talk about the game in general, but I think that play, compiled on, is he good enough? Is this team good enough? Could we score enough points because we knew the defense was struggling a little bit. We had to do some things, and he literally get on my back. Let's go, that type of deal. Primetime television, the world's watching. Because not only they don't just want to see LSU, they come to watch Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
They want to go see who's everybody talking about with this Heisman. Who's this skinny kid from California? Let's check him out.
Yeah, man, there were so many moments in the season where, because the defense was struggling, the Missouri game, they had and they didn't get a stop until the Harold Perkins interception. But you had to be perfect. In that second half, they had to get going. And the fourth down against Texas A&M is another one where you think of where it's like this is a make or break moment right now.
Ole Miss, even though he lost, he threw a dart at the end of the game.
You talking about the final play of the game? Boy, had a shot.
Had a shot, man. There's so many moments because they always talk about your Heisman moment.
Yeah.
There's so many moments. There's so many moments that
the LSU alumni crew is showing up, and they're all like, I told you when we started the show. As if you're watching us, Legends, we're at the front of Legends, and what you're looking at behind us is the ground level floor of the bar. So there's a basement, this floor, and then an upstairs. We are looking. We are 8 feet from the
33rd Street.
Yeah, we are looking at the street, and there's the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
So everybody walking down 33rd Street, they're looking right here, and there are big spotlights on us. So you're out there and you're looking at light shine. They're looking right at us.
100%. They may not see nothing else, but they definitely see us.
Seeing us,
100%.
Sure.
But yeah, it's one of those things, man, where you want to say there's that moment for everybody. Like with Joe, there was the Bama game, right?
Yeah.
That I think that third and long.
Third and 17 against Texas. The third down run, the scramble against Bama, which converted the first down, which for all intents and purposes ended the game.
Yeah, you can say he had two, but for Jayden, it's kind of like the whole damn season was a Heisman moment. If you want to be honest, everything he did, because he exceeded everybody's expectations. Everybody, including mine, who I see him quite a bit.
Yeah. Justin Vincent's with us. Before you took your current role with Tiger Athletic Foundation, of course you were on LSU staff. I've been asked this a bunch too, and I'm curious your thoughts. How does having a Heisman winner help you recruit? It stands to reason it does. Of course it does, but materially, in what ways? Do you bring quarterbacks in and go show them the Heisman and say, look, you can win this?
100%.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, you're a fool. You know, if Ohio State's not pulling out Archie's trophy, they're a fool too.
Yeah.
You know, to get their stable of running backs that they've been having. So those things are 100% a recruiting tool. I mean, we use Josh Reese-Blitnikoff. We use Rudy Nicewinger's Werfel Award. We use all that stuff. Everything that's obtainable to the next kid, you want to make sure that they see it. They envision themselves being that person, putting themselves in that shoes. You know, and obviously with the Thorpe Award, I mean, we got a few of them. So you pick and choose. So those things you want to put on display when kids come on campus. They put the gear on, go take the picture of mom and dad, put the sunglasses on, put the tinted visors on. We want it all.
Did they? Wait, I thought didn't they limit the rule?
They did.
They changed the rule. You can't do it as photo.
No
shoots?
unofficials. It has to be official.
On an official, yeah, just on the official visit, you could do the full photo shoot. A couple more minutes here with Justin Vincent. The on the recruiting piece of it as well. What about just not just for quarterbacks to come in and hold the Heisman? What about just the notoriety, like just the attention of this whole thing? Like how does that help? Like how do you measure that?
You get more eyes on you, right? So, you know, it's kind of wild, right? Because talking to some guys that came in for a reunion in 2003, when I was getting recruited by LSU, I never forget one of my good friends back home, mom and dad went to LSU. He was coming here no matter what. Took me to a game. I never forget. We're playing Florida. It's pouring down raining.
2001.
I could have took a handful of quarters and threw them. It wouldn't have hit a single person in the stands.
Oh no, it was 99.
It was 99.
It was 99. Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have hit a single person, right? And to see the shift, right? You know, Nick come in. Everybody was moaning and groaning about Nick. Who's this middle of the road coach coming from Michigan State? Comes in, 2 years, SEC championship. Bow, national championship. You know, and then Les comes in, national championship. You know, it was just one of those things that LSU is so much on the forefront now. For you to be in the BVIs and see LSU, it is seen by the world now. So just getting that brand and obviously having the staple and the IT trophy being mentioned with your school, that's enough in itself.
I know LSU's done a really good job branding it as
Oh,
well.
dude, our department, I mean, with Emily Villery and Lindsey Thompson and Brandon and everybody else, they are killing it.
Yeah. I saw Matt Turnquist here earlier today as well. Like they are
Corey Warsham, the whole nine, all of them.
They've done a great job documenting and sharing this and being great storytellers.
Oh yeah.
And look, putting billboards up in strategic locations like in Las Vegas where the Pac-12 championship game was at.
Listen, I don't know who decision that was, but God, dog, they hit that nail on the head. And they probably burned their butt up, too, when they were driving into the game, too.
It's so good, though. But, I mean, look, I was told, I don't think this is any surprise or any secret, but they'll have Jayden Daniels billboards in Times Square.
Oh.
So you'll see JD5. You'll see photos of JD5 with his billboard in Times Square. And they're going to paint that thing purple and gold. When that's lit up at night, it's beautiful, and you're going to see a lot of it.
Oh, you have to, man. I mean, this is the mecca of tourism.
I know.
Like, when you think about Christmas, you automatically think about New York City.
Yeah.
I'm going to go walk down and see the Tree tomorrow by myself. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, you got to do it now while it's dark.
Oh, no, tomorrow night.
Okay, tomorrow night.
All right,
tomorrow night.
I've done the dark thing. I don't want to be just cruising streets in New York by myself.
Well, that's probably a good thing. That's probably a good thing. Justin Vincent, all-time Tiger great. Give a shout out. Like you're working with TAF now. Tell people what's up. What you got going on?
Oh man, you know, obviously we the philanthropic funds that we raise for our student athletes, man, to build the facilities, help offset the cost of the university has to pay for scholarships. You know, everything that we do is all for the student athletes. It is an amazing opportunity for you to get involved. You know, it also piggybacks, helps people get tickets, parking, so forth and so on. We do a lot of great things, man. I mean, the kids benefit from us. We have some student athletes who do intern with us too as well. Do some following us around and all that stuff. But it is, for us, it is the lifeblood of what we do in LSU athletics. The philanthropic funds that we raise for this university helps put our student athletes in the best position to graduate and have an opportunity to win significant games and national championships at LSU.
You know, I think the thing what you mentioned that most people probably don't realize is scholarships. When a student athlete gets a scholarship, that money isn't deferred.
No.
The money has to be paid still to the university, and TAF helps fund those scholarships. So that's not just like, oh, you get a scholarship, It's a deferred
No,
payment. No. Like a check has to be written.
Oh, somebody's writing it.
Yeah,
somebody's writing it. 100%. Nothing's free.
Justin Vincent, great to see you, JV. Thanks
Glad
for coming
to
in,
be here.
man.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. That is the great Justin Vincent. This is After Further Review. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're live at Legends in Manhattan. Jayden Daniels is going to become LSU's third Heisman Trophy winner here on Saturday night. We're fired up to be here, and we appreciate so much Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel, our three great sponsors who made this possible. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, there is some relevant information. Quincy Wiggins, Marlon Martinez hit the portal. Gabriel Relaford commits to LSU. I'll give you some thoughts on that as we continue. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
We are brought to you by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. I always love sharing great 5-star reviews. And this one says, I have to say, I'm very pleased with the service of Darren James and his team. He's the most responsive agent I've ever had. Provided my wife and I with the right information and assistance to get our condo listed and under contract quickly. 5 stars, highly recommend. That's another 5-star review for Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone? And remember, Darren has his guaranteed sale program. Agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it absolutely free. If you want to learn more, call Darren James, 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Well, while essentially the entire LSU football program is here in New York City as Jayden Daniels is preparing to become LSU's third Heisman Trophy winner, there were some interesting comings and goings with the program as the portal is still open, this 30-day portal window, which opened on Monday. And also, you have the early signing period coming on December the 20th. So you still have players making commitment announcements, and they're both high school players and then players in the portal making their announcements. So every day, I think we're going to expect some type of news like this, an LSU offer going out, a player hitting the portal, a player committing, something along those lines. And there were three of consequence here on Friday. So let's just touch on them in order if we could. First is Quincy Wiggins. So there was a player on the defensive line, one out, one in. Quincy Wiggins, you might remember, was he was a five-star member of LSU's 2022 signing class. And this is one of the ones that it's a bit perplexing on its face, but when you dig a little deeper, it kind of makes sense. So Quincy Wiggins went to Madison Prep, and he is a all-airport team looking dude. 6'5", 265, and one of those guys that looks the part. When you look at him, you go, how hasn't that guy made more of an impact? And in another era, it's probably a situation where Quincy Wiggins stays, continues to develop, and when his time comes, becomes a really good football player. But it's a guy that physically matured young, was at a small school, came to LSU, played in 6 games as a freshman, and was limited to just 4 games this year and hasn't really emerged. And LSU, as a result, had to go hit the portal hard the last 2 years for defensive ends. And Quincy Wiggins is one of those guys that he is too big in a 3-4 that as LSU plays it to play that jack position, which, a year ago we saw B.J. Ojolari play that jack spot. Well, Wiggins is too big to play that jack spot, and he's probably not quite big and physical enough yet to play that left end spot where Ali Gay played. So this year LSU brought in a guy like Parrish Shand, and you saw Braden Swinson really play well in that role, especially late in the season. Wiggins just hadn't quite found his spot in the rotation, and I think sometimes this is just a product of a guy who is highly regarded, highly rated, comes to school, doesn't make an immediate impact, and looks for greener pastures. But the flip side of it is I kind of understand it, because if LSU is going to maintain the status quo with their defense, then Wiggins doesn't necessarily have a spot. He's a guy that in a traditional 4-3 could put his hand in the dirt and come off the edge, and it would make a lot of sense. When I think about this, I always think of a guy like Tyson Jackson. Tyson Jackson at LSU was a prototypical 4-3 end. Hand in the dirt, get up the field, rush the quarterback. He was freakishly athletic. And then he went to the NFL, and in Kansas City and Atlanta, they made him a 3-4 end. And he had to balloon up over 300 pounds because you got to be an edge setter and play well against the run. It's not just about rushing the passer. So it's probably what happened here with Quincy. So, in his career, he played in 5 games as a freshman, 4 games as a sophomore, so 9 total games played in 2 years, and just 7 tackles, 1 TFL, no sacks. So it's one where you hate it because of your depth next year and the possibility of developing a really good player. But I also understand that especially if you're going to get Parrish Shand and Braden Swinson back next year, and you want those 2 players back because they became really productive players for you on your defensive line. And so if you get them back another year, older, more mature, developed in this defense, then if you gave me my druthers, I'd rather the 2 veteran guys are going to help me now than the guy that's a bit more of a project that's waiting his turn. So Quincy Wiggins hits the transfer portal. It's another defensive lineman in the portal. As we know, Bryce Langston entered the portal earlier this week. The really good news for LSU on the defensive line is that Gabriel Relaford committed to LSU. So you remember this story. Gabriel Relaford from Evangel, a 4-star, had been committed, one of the top 10 players in the country at his position, depending on which scouting service you look at. On 3, has him as the number 6 player in the state of Louisiana. So you're talking about a consensus top 10 player in the state of Louisiana who had been committed to Texas A&M. Frank Wilson got busy there. He's also been recruited by Jimmy Lindsey and John Jancic. So this is a job really well done by this LSU staff. He committed, is a Louisiana kid from North Louisiana, from Evangel, who was committed to Texas A&M, and you stayed on him. You stayed on him. You kept selling him on why staying in Louisiana matters. I'll give you a relevant parallel, especially for us, which is Jacob Hester. And we all love Jake, and he's on our station. He's a morning show host. But everybody knows outside of that his football story. This is a guy from Evangel who he'll tell you, was a 2-star, and Nick Saban recruited him. He came here, competed, and became an all-time great LSU Tiger. I mean, he is synonymous with the 18 jersey, and forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, Jacob Hester is a legend. Like, he, as number 18, the Florida game, the 07 championship, like, wherever he goes in Louisiana for the rest of his life, he is number 18, Jacob Hester. He has immortality, and that's what this state can afford. And I think when you sell that sometimes to kids like Gabriel Relaford, you can say, hey, yes, look, you can leave and go to College Station, or you can go to Ole Miss, or you can go to Southern Cal, and you could be a really good player and have a great career there. And there's lots of redeeming qualities and values of going other places. But just remember, you go play there, and it doesn't work out, or it does work out, but you want to come back to Louisiana at some point, you're not going to have the same doors opened as that you would have if you had played at LSU and worn the purple and gold. I know I'm preaching. I'm just stating this out loud. So it was a great job by LSU to stay on him and continuing to sell that message. Yes, Jimbo Fisher being fired, that staff being dismantled, Coach Robinson leaving as well, who was the interim head coach there, did a great job recruiting a lot of those guys on the defensive line. LSU had an opportunity and they struck. So it's a job very well done. And as you continue to rebuild that defensive line, this is a very important piece to get a top 10 player in the state of Louisiana at a position of need and away from Texas A&M. So you continue to tear apart that Texas A&M class while building yours. So it's a double, it's sort of a double punch for LSU here, getting a commitment from Gabriel Relaford. So Quincy Wiggins out, Gabriel Relaford in. There was one other player that I want to talk about here in just a quick second. I'll get to that. Let me remind you real quick about our friends over at DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. How about the Otter last night? Listen, I'm in New York, thankfully. Mobile betting is live in New York, so I was able to punch up the DraftKings app. I had Muso hosting last night, had Otter for Otter Locks. He gave us the early play with the play-in tournaments. Both unders hit. He also gave us the Pacers. Boom, 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 3-0. By the way, if you're a new customer and you downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you used the promo code Baton Rouge, you made a $5 NBA bet. DraftKings gives you $150 in bonus bets instantly. You could have gotten that and boom, boom, boom from the Otter with his 3-0 night in the NBA last night. I'm just saying, why aren't you playing? DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 NBA bet. Any NBA bet, win or lose, they'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. If it's football, of course, the NFL weekend's ahead. Got Army-Navy this weekend. All your in-games. I told you earlier there was a soccer match, Juve against Nev or something like that. Whoever was playing, I don't know. But if you want to bet on that, you can as well at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. DraftKings. The crown is yours.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes. Only bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
One other player hit the portal on Friday, and that's LSU offensive lineman Marlon Martinez. LSU a year ago really had a revolving door on the offensive line, especially early in the season. And we've talked about it a ton. 6 different line combinations in the first 8 games. And then they settled themselves. And what we also saw late in the season was Marlon Martinez start to emerge at center. And there was some question coming out of last season because Martinez played so well at center late in the year and got so many good reps that he would push Charles Turner for that starting job and might even win it, especially after some struggles in fall camp. But ultimately, Turner steadied himself, won the job, and Marlon Martinez was relegated to a backup role. Now, he's played in a ton of games. Marlon Martinez has played in 45 games over his 4 seasons in Baton Rouge. He committed and signed back in 2020, so the COVID year was his first year. And he's played in 12 games each of the last 3 seasons. So Martinez can take advantage of the COVID year and play a 5th year somewhere else, which is what he's electing to do. And this is one I totally understand. Because Marlon Martinez leaving it is probably an indicator that LSU is going to get some of their veteran interior linemen back. Like, we know Will Campbell and Emory Jones are returning. But remember, Charles Turner can come back for his 6th year. Garrett Dellinger can return for his senior season. And Miles Frazier can come back as well for a 5th season, take advantage of the COVID year. So if any of those 3 players were leaving, Marlon Martinez is the next guy up to start, unless if we talk about Lance Hurd, which certainly Hurd could start at right tackle. They could kick Emory Jones inside. So that takes away a spot. But if one guy were leaving, if Charles Turner were leaving, Martinez is your starting center next year, most likely, unless he battled with DJ Chester. My point is, this is an opportunity for Marlon Martinez to go somewhere where he knows he's going to start, and that opportunity not being clearly communicated to him tells me LSU's planning on getting some of those guys on the interior of the offensive line back. You hate to lose a guy that's had that much experience. He's played in 45 games over 4 seasons, but in those 4 seasons, he's never been able to beat out a player to become a starter. It's not to say he's not a good player, because he has played well at times. But there's always been someone just a little bit better, both at the guard spots, tackle spots, and at center. So you'd love to have him there as a depth piece, but you understand if he's leaving, it means he's likely not going to be starting next year. So you're going to be really good. LSU has recruited exceptionally well on the offensive line. Brad Davis has done a great job developing that talent. You've got another really good recruiting class coming in on the offensive line as well, and they could be targeting another transfer to add some depth. So Marlon Martinez, the 7th LSU player to hit the transfer portal. We still have not seen an LSU starter hit the portal, which is probably the most significant piece here, to say you've got a lot of buy-in from this roster with this coaching staff, with what they're building, even with the issues on defense. The fact that the players you're losing are all young or depth pieces, and you're not losing any of your starters. By contrast, look at what's happening at Texas A&M, where it's just open doors, mass exodus of really impactful players. That's the good. Every team, every year, is going to lose players in the transfer portal. Everybody. Every team every year is going to lose players in the portal. What you don't want to lose is impactful players in the transfer portal, and that's not happened yet to LSU this year. We'll keep you posted. Okay, it is After Further Review. Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Of course, you need that stocking stuffer. A gift card from Don Juan Cigar Bar is an awesome option for the cigar smoker on your Christmas list. Get on by Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. We, of course, appreciate them for sponsoring our Friday shows all throughout the year. All right, well, now I got a quick break. When we come back, our buddy Michael Cobell from WBRZ is up here in New York City as well. Cauble filing reports for our news partner over at WBRZ all throughout the evening, so make sure you look to that. We'll get Cobble's take on the day today. He had a chance to really go back and forth with Jayden during the media availability, so Cobbs will jump aboard with us here for a couple of minutes. We're glad to have you here with us. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Remember last week we had that awful weather come through. A week ago today, it was all the tornado watches and everything. If that high wind, heavy rain caused roof damage or might have caused roof damage for you, give us a shout at Hudco. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Ryan Terrio. That's Richard Tilley. A Louisiana company owned by Louisiana people using Louisiana products for more than 20 years. It's Hudco Roofing. You see the big orange roofs everywhere. Well, the roofs aren't orange, but the felt paper we put under the roof, that is orange. So you can see a lot of the pictures of the orange roofs. But you see the orange shirts of our workers on roofs there at Hudco Roofing. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. You can fill out that inquiry, the form online at hudcoroofing.com. That's hudcoroofing.com, or call us in the Baton Rouge area at 364-1007. 364-1007 for Hudco Roofing and hudcoroofing.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
T-Bob's usually here if he gets.
I'm just trying to enjoy the moment, soak everything up. But, coming out here is kind of a surreal moment. It's my first time out here. So, I used to watch the ceremony of guys win, wishing one day I was up here.
Jayden Daniels, first time in New York City. California kid who went to Arizona State, then, of course, to LSU, and now the first time in the Big Apple. And it's going to be a memorable one, no doubt, for Jayden Daniels. Michael Cobell, our news partner at WBRZ, has been here along the way. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Cobbs, how are you?
I'm doing well, yeah. It's going to be hard to beat the first trip winning the Heisman, if he ever comes back to NYC. So we'll see.
What was your big takeaway from our media availability with Jayden a few hours ago?
I just think the relaxed nature that he has about him, kind of facing, what's ahead of him. He just seemed real comfortable and thankful for kind of where he was at, and just got a chance to tell his story, on the national stage now. And it's a great story, Matt. I mean, you just think about the progress that he's made over the last 2 years. He's going to win the Heisman tomorrow night. I think you and I both agree he's going to win it, and it's just incredible to think the situation LSU finds themselves in. This shortly removed from Joe Burrow doing the same thing after just 60-year drought. So it's heady times, dude, to be an LSU fan, to cover the team, to be Jayden Daniels.
Jayden said that Joe Burrow reached out to him yesterday to offer him some advice and words of encouragement. You were here in 2019. You covered Burrow's Heisman. Do you see, or how do you sort of describe the parallels between the two?
I think they're both similar in that they're very much about the business and not much else. They're not flashy, but that doesn't mean they lack substance. They're just not, yelling from the rooftops about themselves and their accomplishments. Joe is very much about getting in the work and getting it done and moving on to the next thing. I think Jayden has very much been about getting the work done since the spring and taking his game to this level. So there's a quiet confidence about both of them. Swaggy in different ways, if you want to hear a 50-year-old white guy use that word. But, I just think it's interesting to see how they've kind of gone about reaching such great heights in different fashions at the same school in a relatively short amount of time.
Do you think that this experience sort of sets the stage for – I don't want to look ahead, right? I mean, Jayden's still going to win it tomorrow and officially do that, but do you think this sets the stage for this to happen again? Like, would you predict it? A better way to ask it, what I'm trying to say is, would you predict LSU as another Heisman winner within the next 5 years?
Oof. Maybe not the next 5 years, but I think this shows that it's not an accident, right? It's not something that they fell into, that there's the ability to develop talent at this school, to promote that talent at this school, and they, everybody can capitalize on it. So, yeah, I think another Heisman winner in the next 10 years. I don't know 5 years because, a lot can happen in college football in 5 years. But absolutely, I think this kind of sets the tone that LSU didn't luck up and, make something happen. Yeah, Joe Burrow was phenomenal, and we all thought it was generational. And here it is happening 4 years later, to the same generation. So I think there's a recipe there. You have to have the right ingredients. And look, we love Jayden and whatever he's been able to do this year. But there was a cast of characters around him that enabled him to do those things. The talent at the receivers, the offensive line doing their job, the balance they had with his run game and some of LSU's run game. I think everybody deserves some credit, and I think they'll get it tomorrow night.
Michael Cobell is with us, WBRZ Sports Director. What do you have coming up, by the way, today and tomorrow on BRZ?
Oh, as soon as I get done with you, I'm going to do a little live hit at 5 o'clock, just kind of setting the stage. But that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, just the things that Jayden talked today about his legacy. What does he, he said it before at SEC Media Days. He really wanted to help the next generation of LSU quarterbacks take this step as well. So, I think that's part of his story. I think, yes, dealing with Joe Burrow and getting the advice that he's gotten, the progress that he's made throughout this year by putting in the extra work. You've heard about the 5 a.m. wake-up sessions, I think all of that is what has brought us to this point today. So really just kind of bringing everyone else along that hasn't seen it. Yeah, we'll talk about, the fun things they did this morning with Raising Cane's and Todd Graves and the relationships I think that he has with these other Heisman finalists outside of maybe Marvin Harrison, the three quarterbacks, the way they've kind of come up through this college football system, all of them transfers, all of them knowing each other along the way. Jayden doing the Elite 11 in the opening with Bo Nix and just Michael working out with him over the offseason. I think all of this is an interesting, fascinating story.
That is an interesting tidbit I didn't even remember, but Jayden and Bo Nix at the opening together. I think they even said today that they were roommates at the opening.
They were roommates.
So
they were. Yep, they were roommates.
Those two, they're
look, as Shea Dixon loves to point out, they were the number 1 and 2 dual threat quarterbacks coming out in the same class. So they've been kind of linked at the hip for quite some time, and now they come back together.
And they followed identical converging paths, where Jayden spent 2 years, or I guess his first 3 seasons in the Pac-12 came to the SEC. Bo Nix spent 3 seasons in the SEC, went to the Pac-12, and here you are with them coming right down the wire to the finish. So, hey, real quick before you go, who did the best job at Canes today?
Well, it was very clear that either Bo Nix has never eaten at Canes or he just hasn't done it enough, because he really had no idea, what to call the box combo. And he certainly had, no idea about what is inside of it, because they were asking him, what's your favorite thing about Canes sauce? And he's like, it's great on chicken tenders.
What about so they all had to read? So they all had to read lines. So it was very much a photo. It was like a controlled setting. So it was a photo shoot.
Yeah.
But they did let people in from the street, like to come get an order
Chicken.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes,
there was a couple from Lake Charles that got in there.
Yes,
and
yes.
got Jaden to serve them. So.
Forgive me, I forgot the gentleman's name, but his wife was Wendy, because she asked me to take a picture with her. So I remembered Wendy. So shout out if they're listening. But one of the lines, they made all three get on the loudspeaker, right, to say one of their recorded lines, and Bo Nix had to say like, Nick,
come quick.
Come quick,
shit.
Nix. And then he said like Nix the slaw. Or something like that. It was really good. Look for those commercials on a TV near you. They did their best. All right, it's hard enough to try to do a TV spot like in an uncomfortable setting like that, and then you have literally hundreds of people crammed into a Times Square restaurant watching you try to deliver these lines that you're getting for the first time. Yes, I'll give them a smidge of leeway for their lack of delivery. But how about the director of the commercials? Like, great job. He has to be the hype man.
It, yeah. And Todd was up there. He's like, "Oh, you guys got a lot of commercial work in your future. I could see it." I'm like, yeah, it's rocks, maybe. I don't know.
They'll do great at football. All three.
Hey, exactly.
All three,
Good thing they're talented in other ways, right? And we'll see it tomorrow. We do have a Heisman special that's running tomorrow. I think it's either 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Tomorrow that's going to recap a lot of this. You're involved in it with some of the things that we've talked about on Sports Takeover. So if you can't get enough Heisman, you can always tune in again tomorrow.
He is Michael Cobell, Sports Director, WBRZ on Twitter @Cauble. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Matt. Take care.
All right, be well. That is Michael Cobell. This is After Further Review. We are live at Legends in New York City. We will be back here at Legends tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time. With our Heisman preview show, a 2-hour show that will walk you right up to the ceremony. Jacob Hester will be here as well. Hester is in Boston with SiriusXM for Army-Navy, but this was sort of contingent on Jayden, this happening the way it did. So Hester is going to do his work for SiriusXM tomorrow morning, and then he's supposed to jump on a train and go from Boston here to New York and be on with us for the show tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. Central. So we'll be right back here at Legends from 5 to 7. You can listen to us or you can watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. I know our affiliates in Lafayette and Lake Charles are carrying the show on radio as well, 103.7 ESPN, 103.7 Lafayette, and 104.1 Lake Charles. But if you're out of market, you can watch us on YouTube as well tomorrow. So we're looking forward to bringing you that Heisman show. Okay, it is After Further Review. Our Friday shows are always brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Muse will have Tigers in the pros. LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock in 14 minutes from right now. If you missed it, we had Joe Sloan with us, LSU quarterback coach Joe Sloan in hour number 1. So a ton of good stuff still to get to, and glad you're hanging out here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Hey, it is not too late, y'all. It is not too late to get by Clegg's and get your Christmas tree. So any of the 4 locations, Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Yes, 4 locations. All 4 locations have real, live Christmas trees. Great selection. Before it gets totally picked over, get on by Clegg's to get that Christmas tree. If you prefer the pre-lit tree, the artificial tree, they've got a great selection of those as well at any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations in all different sizes. Need a gift? Clegg's gift cards are a great option. Their tuned wind chimes are a great gift for anybody. Bird feeders, you'll find great options for anybody on your Christmas list at Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations. Poinsettias, how could I forget the poinsettias? The holidays are here. Be festive with our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, Thursday Night Football last night. Well, former LSU Tigers in action. Jalen Mills, really solid night for the Patriots. Second leading tackler on the team with 7 stops. One of those coming for a loss, 4 of them all by his lonesome solo. Devon Gottschall added 4 stops for New England, and then Patrick Peterson on the other side for Pittsburgh added 3 stops of his own. NBA G League action last night. Delaware Blue coach Javonte Smart, 17 points. 5 assists in the ball game. Shot 7 of 16 from the floor, but 50% from behind the arc in the Blue Coats win. NBA G League action from earlier today. The Oklahoma City Blue, KJ Williams, another kind of like minutes reduction day for him. I guess a little load management there. Only 2 points in 12 minutes, but did manage to grab 4 rebounds in the ball game. And then also Darius Days earlier today in the G League contributed 17 minutes, 14 points. 6 rebounds on his day. Shot 6-14 from the floor, so a solid day all around for him as well. That's Tigers and Pros. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. If you're thinking about getting engaged this Christmas, Lee Michaels has helped people in our state get engaged for 40 years. Gorgeous diamonds that'll make her thrilled. Make you a hero. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry can help. They'll always give you the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. A lot of you have asked about Trevor Etienne, who jumped into the transfer portal. And, of course, from Jennings, like his brother before him, left LSU, left Louisiana. Of course, Travis Etienne with Clemson, Trevor Etienne to Florida for the past couple of seasons, hit the portal today. I would suspect that LSU will be in the mix here. There is a really long list of very good running backs in the transfer portal. Rocket Sanders was an all-SEC running back who's also in the portal. I mean, I don't know how aggressive LSU is going to be going after a running back in this portal class. I think a big part of it has to do with whether or not you have Logan Diggs returning. Logan Diggs is draft eligible, could go pro. He graduated from Notre Dame, so he's already got his degree and is draft eligible and could go. So does he? If he does, then look, you got a couple of really promising freshmen. People are really excited about Caleb Jackson, and Trey Holly showed some flash and some promise this year as well. Josh Williams could return for a sixth season. And, you've already seen both Trey Bradford and Armani Goodwin hit the transfer portal. John Emery's out of eligibility. So you're kind of I would really say that it really is a matter of, is Logan Diggs coming back? If Logan Diggs is coming back, then you have RB1. If not, then you could stand to go add a really talented player like that at that position. So Brian Kelly did say when he met with reporters that he's expecting LSU is going to have is going to be really well represented in the bowl game, and that would sort of suggest that they're going to get a lot of guys back. We'll start to get some answers as to who next week. Trevor Etienne, the running back out of Florida from Jennings, Louisiana, another big name in the transfer portal worth keeping an eye on. Okay, it's after further review. We're at Legends. Our coverage here from New York is brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. We appreciate greatly their support of these broadcasts, bringing it to you. Hour number 3 with Mike Denbrock kicking it off next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. In the market for a new vehicle or might be in the market for a new vehicle? Get on by and see our friends at South Point Volkswagen. South Point is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They have more inventory than anyone else, which means they can give you better deals than anyone else. And at South Point Volkswagen, Sign and Drive is going on right now. It's so easy. 0 down, 0 to its signing, no first month's payment, no security deposit. Well, you sign your name and you are driving away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen. Check them out today. Find out why I love driving a Volkswagen. I drive the Crossport. Before that, I drove an Atlas. Before that, I drove a CC. Before that, I drove a Passat. Find whichever model best suits what your needs are, and you'll be thrilled with the safety features, the style, the feel, the performance, the luxury without the cost. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I'm Doug Brown. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson says he'll wait until Sunday to see if quarterback Trevor Lawrence starts against the Browns. Lawrence trying to work through a high right ankle sprain from Monday night's loss against the Bengals. The Steelers have now lost 2 straight at home against 2-win teams. But ESPN's Dan Graziano has words of warning for those wanting to replace Coach Mike Tomlin.
This guy operates your organization in admirable ways, in ways you can take pride in. You know you're always going to be prepared. You're always going to be competitive. And, yeah, people have bad weeks, bad months, bad years, and maybe he's having, obviously, a bad stretch, certainly this week. But I do think you have to step back sometimes and think about what would the alternative be.
Dan Graziano on Greeny. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy plans to be on the sideline Sunday night against the Eagles. McCarthy had his appendix taken out on Wednesday. John Sumrall is the new head football coach at Tulane. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports Sumrall will get a 6-year contract. He had been the head coach at Troy.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are live today from Legends in New York City on West 33rd Street. The LSU Alumni Association having their cocktail hour, meet and greet, general celebration here going on today. So if you're in the city, come on by and hang out with us. Or if you know someone who is, send them on our way. This is where we'll be also tomorrow from 6 to 8 Eastern, 5 to 7 Central for our Heisman preview show, walking you right up to the ceremony. And no doubt a guy who played a big part in Jayden Daniels' big day, which we're all expecting to happen tomorrow, is LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, who's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Mike, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Matt. Thanks for having me on. It's an exciting time.
Hey, can you look, I know you're a dad, and a lot of these players have to feel like children. Like, do you feel part of that, like, proud papa feeling with Jayden and what he's going to accomplish here?
Absolutely. I mean, 100%. I mean, you always hope, I think, as a coach that you have some sort of positive influence, not just with X's and O's, but that, there's a relationship that builds between you and the guys that you work with every day, and that hopefully they feel the same way about it that you do, that you have their best interest at heart, and you're doing everything you can to help them play their very best and be the best people they can be.
Well, Jayden checks a lot of those boxes. I'm curious if we can go back and then go forward. What was it? What do you remember about recruiting Jayden? Because I'm going to assume that during your time at Cincinnati, maybe you weren't as familiar with him at Arizona State, or correct me if I'm wrong, but what are your recollections of recruiting him?
Well, I mean, when I was at Cincinnati, we played with, a quarterback who was a little bit more of a dual threat guy in Desmond Ridder. And when we, got here and kind of assessed the situation that we had, we were looking for someone who had some similar characteristics about him, somebody who could, move in the pocket and make some plays with his feet when we needed to. We knew we were going to be young up front. So we wanted to have a guy who was maybe a little more mobile and could do the things, some of the things that Jayden has done. I don't know that I ever envisioned it turning into what it turned into, although, when we were recruiting him, one of the things I remember, and him and I were talking about this actually after we beat A&M, after in the locker room, I had mentioned to him, we had several Zoom calls together and just talked about philosophy and how I saw him and how I hoped to lend a hand in his development. But one of the things we talked about was this very thing, that LSU would give him a forum and that our system would be built around his strengths. And if he fulfilled his end of it and I fulfilled my end of it, maybe him and I might end up in New York one day. And lo and behold, here we are, and it's just been an amazing journey.
You did talk to him about possibly winning a Heisman when he was being recruited?
We absolutely did, yes. Absolutely. And listen, with in 2019 Joe Burrow, now with Jayden Daniels, I think what it spoke to and what I was trying to get to the heart of was LSU is a place where that's possible. That can happen here. It's been done. And if we build this the right way and go about doing it the right way, then we've got a chance to be in the very spot that the 2019 team was. And that was really, quite honestly, the biggest part of the recruiting pitch was what we could do together if we built this thing the right way.
You mentioned, Mike Denbrock's our guest. You mentioned Desmond Ridder. So in 21, that great season there at Cincinnati, he finished 8th in the Heisman voting, which, to the best of my knowledge, would be the highest finish for a quarterback that you coach. Did you ever, unless if there's someone I'm missing, did you ever think, or have you allowed yourself to think that you would, as a coach, you'd get it, that you would coach a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback?
I don't think it ever really crossed my mind to the extent of where I thought, this is a reality that's going to happen, because you really never know how it's going to go and how it's going to, progress and how much growth is going to happen. I've worked with guys before where I thought it was a possibility. And, obviously with the great leap that Jayden made from year 1 to year 2, as the year went along, it became more and more into focus as something that could actually happen. And even though we didn't talk much about it, him and I always have had a bond and kind of an understanding that this was the ultimate goal, if at all possible. And here we go. Good Lord willing, they do the right thing and they give the guy who deserves it the most and the guy who's earned it the award tomorrow.
Oh, I think that's going to happen. It feels like all that's left to do is just for them to open up the envelope and read the name. Did you know in fall camp this was going to happen? Like he was going to have this type of improvement?
You saw signs even in the spring of the development piece. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joe Sloan and the great work that he's done with Jayden to help him come along in his progression. And even Coach Kelly, obviously, with the success he's had with quarterbacks over the years, has been deeply involved in Jayden's development, as well as Jack Marucci and the AI stuff that we do with the quarterbacks. And we had a comprehensive plan, and Jayden just kind of embraced it and ran with it. And it's been remarkable to watch him. And I think the signs were there that we knew it was going to be a special season offensively because of not just because of Jayden, but because of, Malik and Brian Thomas and Kyron Lacey and the running backs, and the offensive line was more seasoned. So we knew we were going to score some points and move the football. I don't know that you can sit in fall camp and ever envision what actually happened, but we knew we were going to be something that, people were going to have trouble defending.
Was it easy to call plays for Jayden Daniels?
Well, I call him the human eraser. So and if there's anybody in the world that needs somebody to help him look smart, it's me. And he's a godsend from that standpoint because just think if you're the defensive coordinator, I can count numerous times during the season where they got a pretty good call on and it doesn't look like it, or he erases whatever advantage they had by just the skill that he has and the way he plays the game.
Were there material ways that you changed how you called plays a year ago to this year?
Definitely. I think I was a lot more conservative with him a year ago because I don't know that I had a great feel for him or, quite frankly, what we could become. And I wanted to make sure that, I kept us in positions to win football games. And that's always the goal. And, when we got into going into this season, I think the mindset changed to the point where we were ready as a unit to just let it rip, led by him, of course. But we had all the pieces constructed and in the right places where we could really take advantage of people.
A couple more minutes here with Mike Denbrock, LSU's offensive coordinator. I would assume you are going to be on the plane flying up here tomorrow?
I am on a plane flying up there tomorrow, and I know you guys are having happy hour tonight, but it's not going to look anything like it's going to look if he wins this trophy tomorrow night, I can tell you that.
No, you're right about that. The city will be painted in purple and gold. Have you allowed yourself to think about what it's going to be like in that room to hear his name and to watch him go receive that award?
Well, I'm almost scared to even envision it or think about it because I don't want to, I don't want to jinx it in any way, shape, or form or put some wrong karma out into the atmosphere. But it's going to be incredibly exciting. And obviously all the guys that are there standing next to him are in some ways deserving of the award. But I don't see any way that this young man does not get rewarded for the great things that he's done.
The last thing for you, the fans and the person listening right now has watched Jayden play all year and have marveled by the job he's done on the field. So often, though, with athletes, you get to consume them in digestible pieces and sound bites at a post-game interview or a press conference or something. You're there with him every single day and have been now for nearly 2 years. What about Jayden Daniels that the person that you've come to know that maybe fans, people don't know or don't get to see every day?
Yeah, I mean, none of his success is by accident. I mean, he has attacked everything that we've put in front of him. He's a tireless worker. I think, there's been some publications of, when he comes in the morning and watches film and things like that. And that's just a small piece of it. I mean, his preparation to be in those moments and to be ready for those moments has been something that's been a pleasure to watch. And he's taken the initiative with that and really done a tremendous job. And then on top of that, he's unflappable. I mean, he enjoys as stressful as it can be at times. He loves the game, and you can see that by the way he plays it and the joy that he has, not just when he has success, but when people around him have success. And when you got that, you got something pretty special.
This season certainly was that, and I know you were a big part of it as well, and we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. Hey, we're also glad that you're going to be sticking around Baton Rouge for a few more years, man. Congrats on the extension. We're all excited that you'll be up there dialing up plays for the Tigers for years to come, man. Congrats, and thanks again for the time today.
Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. It's our pleasure. That is LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock. The LSU contingent will be making their way up to New York City tomorrow. Don't believe Brian Kelly's here yet. I believe Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan and Mike Denbrock, the coaches, they'll be up tomorrow. Today, it was Jayden. His family's parents were here. I know he had some other relatives who were an aunt and uncle were here as well today. But this has been more the sports information. Michael Bonnet, Brandon Barrio, Cody Worsham, Matt Turnquist, who you see do so much of the great video work that LSU puts out. Emily Dixon and Shay are here as well. So a lot of the sports information and a lot of that staff that was with Jayden in Baltimore for the Unitas Award presentation yesterday came up yesterday or last night or today with Jayden, and then the rest of the coaches will be up tomorrow. So I mentioned this earlier. It is going to look decidedly different. Actually, let me break so I stay on time. I'll come back to that because I do have some time. That's it for our scheduled guests. We'll see if anybody else jumps on here before we're done. But when we come back, I want to recap the day for Jayden and also let you hear a little bit more of what he had to say at the media availability. And then I'll kind of set the stage for what the day is like tomorrow as well and kind of how it's going to contrast to what it was even just 4 years ago for Joe Burrow. So that's coming up. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. It's a Friday edition of AFR. We're at Legends in New York City on West 33rd. If you've ever been to New York, like we are literally directly across the street from the Empire State Building. I mean, you walk out of Legends, you look up, and you were looking right up the Empire State Building. So if you're ever in New York, make sure you come stop by and tell the folks at Legends, Liam and the crew, that how much you appreciate them hosting us. And this is where all of the the LSU alumni watch parties are in the city for game days and all that stuff. So we're thrilled to be here. We'll be glad to be back here tomorrow as well. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Of course, we tell you all the time, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Get Gordon and get it done. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. You can trust Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So pleased. The entries are now closed for the Gordon Gibbs bike giveaway, but we're going to be really excited over the coming days and weeks to be able to share a lot of the stories and a lot of the pictures and videos of those bike giveaways as Gordon and his team go around the state of Louisiana, brightening up the day and the Christmas for so many children across the state of Louisiana. Gordon's going to give away 488 bikes, 488 bicycles to children who could just use a little bit brighter Christmas, and we salute him so much for that. He's a great man, and we love our partnership with him and are grateful for all he's done, not only for us but for NIL, children in our state, of course, injured people in our state. If you've been injured, you need representation, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Rolling along here from Legends in Manhattan on West 33rd. The LSU Alumni Association having their cocktail hour here, and there'll be a big Heisman watch party here tomorrow as well, starting at 8 p.m. Of course, 8 local time, 8 Eastern. And our Heisman preview show, I'll remind you, is going to be from 6 to 8 Eastern, 5 to 7 Central. We'll be on 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge, Eagle 98.1, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, ESPN 104.1 in Lake Charles. And then, of course, we'll be streaming it on our YouTube channel as well. So we'd love it if you just bathe in the day. You're an LSU fan. Don't take these days for granted. You know, it was, as we've said, 60 years from Dr. Billy Cannon to Joe Burrow, and then here 4 years later, LSU is going to have another Heisman Trophy winner, but there's no telling when there will be another. You can never predict these kinds of things, and they're all special. So we're thrilled to be here and to be celebrating Jayden, the great season he had, and this historic moment for LSU. So if you're in New York or know someone who will be, the Heisman watch party will be here at Legends tomorrow as well. And I think everybody that's an LSU fan in the city will likely be here at Legends tomorrow, so we're going to be excited to be here as well. Let me very quickly kind of run you through kind of what the day is like tomorrow, even how it's changed from just 4 years ago. So after the media availability this afternoon, the Heisman finalists they were taken on a private tour of the city, which I don't know how they got around because it's gridlock around here with the Christmas holiday and everything. They'll have a low-key night, and then tomorrow, early afternoon, mid-afternoon, they have media availability before they go to the Lincoln Center, which is where the Heisman ceremony is going to be. There's a few changes when Joe Burrow won. Everyone knows that for so many years, the Heisman was awarded at the Downtown Athletic Club, and post 9/11. The Downtown Athletic Club closed, and the Heisman started moving around. It was a variety of different locations all around the city. 4 years ago, the Marriott Marquis in Times Square was the media hotel. It's where all the finalists stayed and everything like that. And there's a theater right next to the Marriott that was accessible through the Marriott, and that's where the television broadcast was, the actual ceremony. After COVID, that theater closed. The Heisman Trust has kept the media hotel and all the Heisman events at the Marriott Marquis. So the interviews, if you notice, took photos today of the 4 finalists with the trophy, and then all of the media availability that you probably saw on social media today with Jayden and Bo Nix and Michael Penix and Marvin Harrison Jr. All of that was at the Marriott Marquis. Well, the ceremony on Saturday is going to be at the Lincoln Center, a bit north of Times Square. It'll be in Central Park South. So it'll be a beautiful venue, but the biggest difference is it is going to be quaint. That is usually the broadcast itself, what is seen on TV, the TV show, is usually a very small crowd to begin with. You have the past Heisman winners, you have the finalists, their families, coaches, And then several other dignitaries. Maybe it's Heisman Trophy winners who might have a guest or a family member or members of the Heisman Trust, but it is not a large ceremony. For context, 4 years ago, when Joe was a finalist, LSU got around 50 tickets. I believe the number I was told was 54. So that's the number of tickets for, and that was everybody. That was Joe's family, coaches, LSU dignitaries, whoever was going to attend. That was the total number that they got. And then people are walking by on West 33rd. They can see right into the window where we are. We're taking photos. Anyway, so I was just pointing at one of them. I gave him one of the double guns. So 4 years ago it was 50-some-odd tickets. This year it's 15 tickets total. So that's Jayden's family, LSU's coaches. So you talk about, just Brian Kelly, Mike Denbrock, Joe Sloan we know are confirmed. Jayden's mom and dad will be there. That's 5 of the 15 right there. That's 5 of the 15. I don't know who else is going to have those tickets, those seats, but we'll see tomorrow. So it'll look different on TV. It'll be very small, and I'm excited though to see, because the Lincoln Center is beautiful. That whole area is gorgeous. So we'll see how it looks. And then afterwards, there's a pre-Heisman media availability. They're used to allow the media to go into the room where the television show is going to happen. That got canceled. No word from the Heisman Trust why that was canceled, but the media is not going to be allowed in the room before the presentation tomorrow. But in any event, they'll have media availability around 4 Central, the Heisman presentation show, and then afterwards they'll bring Jayden back to the Marriott, and they'll have another press availability with him then. So you'll have a lot of that content tomorrow, just sort of setting the stage for how the day is going to go tomorrow. We'll let you hear a bit more from Jayden on his day, this process here in just a quick second. Let me remind you about Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made at all different levels. Always encourage you to go to TractionSports.com to learn about all the camps and different events that they have. They have a couple of things coming up. The holiday camps are huge. So if your son or daughter is going to be off of school for the Christmas holiday, of course they are, and you need somewhere for them to go, they have baseball, softball, and speed camps during the holidays. So go to TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. You'll see the holiday camps, the holiday baseball camps, the holiday speed camps, ages, really for a variety of camps, ages 5 and up. There's full and half-day options, super affordable. They're also enrolling right now for their first ever spring softball league. Everyone knows about the baseball leagues at Traction, but for the first time they'll have a spring softball league as well. So if your daughter is interested in playing softball, they have an 8U, a 10U, and a 12U league. So get on by TractionSports.com to register today. TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made. As we mentioned, Jayden Daniels met with reporters earlier today here on the eve of when he will win the Heisman Trophy. And he talked about his decision. This is number 5, Muse, if we could. Talked about his decision coming to LSU 2 years ago and how it was the right one.
It was a great decision for me that I won't regret. I didn't regret anything at Arizona State, but coming here and really just believing in myself and my talent, plus the LSU platform, obviously it goes a long way. There's a lot of grace that came through LSU and everything, so I'm just happy to be a part of that.
I know he talked about the greats who have come through LSU, and he's happy to be a part of that. I think Jayden has handled everything with a tremendous amount of class and dignity. Let's be very clear. And listen, we had Joe Sloan with us in hour 1. We had Mike Denbrock just a bit ago. Whenever somebody wins an award and they are lauded and receive this type of attention, we always tend to try to highlight the person as well. And to be very honest, not every great athlete is a good person. It's just a reality. They're not all great people. Some are jerks. Some are a pain in the neck to cover. And you probably sense that a lot of times with athletes at other schools. You get it. I'll give you an example. And this person seems to have turned their life around, which is great, but Johnny Manziel had a lot of issues. We've seen the documentary. He went through a really tough time in life. Seems to have gotten to a great spot, which is good. But my point is, not everybody that wins a Heisman is a great person. It's just the reality of it. Jayden is, and it's very clear. He's a humble kid who works hard. He promotes his teammates. He kind of shies away from the spotlight, which is interesting to be that much of an alpha at the position he is. I guess all that matters is that you do it on the field. But he is a genuinely good kid, and you like to see good things happen for good people. A couple more from Jayden, 11 and 12, Muse, if we could. He did talk about his decision to return to school and why he wanted to do that.
It was important to me, just as I came back this year, is leave LSU in a better place than I found it. And continue this growth with everybody, not with just me. Garrett, Ricky, and the guys that haven't come after. Being able to be there and be a mentor for them. I've been in college for quite some time, so I have a little bit of knowledge that I can give them on how to deal with stuff because they've never been a starter yet. So like I tell them, anything they need, my phone is always open.
I've been in college for quite some time. Yes, 5 years. 5 years is a long time to play college football. It is an example of taking advantage of the COVID year. Bo Nix did it as well. And, Michael Penix. I mean, you have 3 quarterbacks who are all transfers, who are all super seniors, who took advantage of their extra time. And they're great examples and illustrations of sometimes the benefit of coming back to school. And one more from Jayden, who was asked an interesting question, how he wants college football to remember him.
I would just say just the joy that I play with. I give it my all. Everything I do, I never quit. But I just want people to look back and say, when he played football, he was very joyful.
I think it's a good way to put it. I know we'll probably have more time for this in the off season, and I noticed this today because our graphics team, for our media group, put up a graphic today about the LSU Mount Rushmore and if Jayden's on it. And it's an interesting question because how could he not be, right? He's one of 3 Heisman winners, and you have to start there. But the Heisman is obviously an offensive award, so if it's Billy Cannon, Joe Burrow, Jayden Daniels, who's next? It's a debate that'll be interesting over time and over the years. But with Jayden Daniels doing things that have literally never been done before in college football and now likely becoming LSU's 3rd Heisman Trophy winner, that's a conversation that's going to be fun to have. And we'll no doubt start having that after Saturday night. Okay, it's after further review here from Legends in New York City. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, thanks so much again to Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. Those 3 businesses have sponsored our coverage here, and they're quite honestly the reason we were able to put this whole trip together to do all this. So many thanks to Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel for partnering with us on this Heisman trip and this Heisman journey up in New York City. Hey, I'll knock out a quick break, come back. Couple things I still want to get to here before we bid you adieu for the evening. I will get you a final preview and prediction on Saints and Panthers Sunday in the Dome. We haven't talked about it at all yet today, but I will get to that before we get out of here. I also want to welcome aboard Sally Steele from the LSU Alumni Association, who have put a lot of this together, so and some of the events that they have coming up, so we'll get to that as well. Still a good bit to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here. It is a Friday edition of AFR from New York City. It's Heisman weekend, and glad to have you hanging out with us here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Rouse's is the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Hey, maybe you're going to be having a Heisman watch party yourself on Saturday night. Maybe you're going to be watching Army-Navy. Let that dovetail into our show from 5 to 7 p.m. And then after that, of course, the Heisman presentation itself. Get on by Rouse's. Rouse's has everything you need. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. You can download the Rouse's app. Download the Rouse's app. Remember, they have curbside to-go options. So download the Rouse's app, select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick it up for you. And then after that, pull up into one of the designated spaces. They'll bring it out to your car for you. Just spend $35. It's a free service. It's Rouse's. Of course, holiday parties, if you need that party platter, that party tray, you can custom make your order, or you can get one of the grab and go. It's at Rouse's. Of course, all your holiday spirits as well. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Welcome back. We're at Legends here in Manhattan. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Quick reminder, our Heisman show, again, tomorrow, 5 to 7 Central. We'll be right back here at Legends, and hopefully you'll join us for that. Our coverage brought to you by Acura of Baton Rouge, Insurance Network of Louisiana, and Community Steel. And from Community Steel to my favorite steel, Sally Steel with the LSU Alumni Association. Spelled differently, however, who's good enough to join us here, along with Truman Van Veckhoven. That's the greatest name for an LSU alum ever. So, welcome, both of you. Thanks for hopping aboard with us here. Truman, let me actually start with you. So, you are with the LSU Alumni Association, the New York City chapter?
The New York City chapter, correct.
So, what do you do here in New York City?
As far as
with LSU alumni. Sorry.
Oh, with LSU alumni. So yeah, Jeff Kaliva was the former president, and he moved back down to Houston earlier this summer, and so assumed the role as the chapter president here. And our job and mission is to continue to grow the alumni base here. Make sure we find alumni that are here in the city, and then spread the Tiger spirit to others that are around.
How do you feel like super famous that people are walking by just taking pictures of us?
I do. I think they're all wondering who we are right now.
Everyone is wondering who. They're going to be so disappointed when like a schmuck like me walks outside.
I just want to go out and sign autographs after this.
I know I've explained it, but if you're watching us, if you're not watching us, hi. If you're not watching us on YouTube, we are sitting at the front of Legends facing the window which faces West 33rd Street. So all of you watching, you're seeing the whole restaurant and bar behind us. But everyone on the street, there's these two big TV lights shining on us. So as you're walking by, it looks like a big production. It is a big production, I guess. But everyone that walks by is just fascinated by what's going on in here. I guess it's New York, right? There's
Regis and Kelly sitting here in the window.
Right, and it's kind of what it's like. Everyone always feels like there's something going on. Sally, this obviously isn't your first time coming to Legends or to New York. How has this relationship with Legends sort of grown?
It's grown tremendously. Through the years, Legends has been a great supporter of the Alumni Association, both the local chapter and the actual Alumni Association there in Baton Rouge. They continue to support us by opening their doors, letting LSU fans come here for events throughout the year, networking events, crawfish boils, football watch parties, but they also give back. They've actually made donations back to the New York Scholarship and to the Alumni Association. So they're a good partner all around. I mean, they really do just open their doors for any LSU fan that comes through New York.
How did this relationship with Legends begin?
I'm going to pass that one to
I can
Truman
handle
because
that.
he's been waiting for this moment.
It's so Tim, and I might butcher his last name here, Tim Gagne.
Gagne.
You
even asked me in the break, Truman. Yeah, I'll spell it phonetically.
Look, I'm from Monroe. I'm from Monroe, not South Louisiana.
You're good.
Hey.
And so Tim was a chapter president, and the affiliation was with the bar on the east side of Manhattan originally, 16 years ago, 17 maybe now. And it was a late Mississippi State game, middle of the season, and I believe the game was approaching 11 o'clock Eastern, and a group from Staten Island had the bar rented out, and the game was in the fourth quarter. 11 o'clock hit, and they turned off the TVs and started playing music for the people from Staten Island.
Oh no!
And so Tim said, "Never again will we step foot in this place."
And that's how this was born.
Yeah, and so Legends had just opened. There's an SEC email chain with all the chapter presidents, and somebody had mentioned that the sports bar just opened if anybody was looking to make a move. Tim called him first thing Monday morning, said, "I heard you just opened. You're now the LSU Bar of New York."
I love it.
And so it's going on 17 years here at Legends. And another fascinating story, even Noel, the owner, his daughter actually went to LSU.
Yeah. I got to meet Noel here about a year and a half ago. Happened to be in the city, popped in here. He was here. It was nice to get to know him. But it's sort of like you walk by the bathroom, there's like a Legends jersey, like in an LSU locker. There you can see there's a white LSU football helmet portrait or photo behind us here.
If you go to their website, the cover photo is them on the game day set at an LSU game.
It's so cool. It's it really has become kind of the place. But Sally, the other thing too with the Alumni Association, that one of the reasons I've loved our partnership with the Alumni Association for so many years is because of what LSU alumni does to give back to the universe. We all think in terms, I think, of football or of athletics, but I know the Alumni Association is so much more than that. For people who don't know, give me the elevator pitch of what the Alumni
Association is. So, the LSU Alumni Association is here to really connect and network people. That's the first priority as alums, right? When you're a newly graduated alum, you're moving to a new city like New York. We have events like we did tonight. We did a professional networking event to bring local alums around from New York to meet other alums from New York, whether they're established in their jobs or I just met someone who just moved here last week as we're sitting here tonight. So she came over here because she knew by coming here she could meet other area alums. The networking events, I think people see the events that we throw, our tailgates, our parties, our crawfish boils, but really it really has a purpose to what we're doing. People like Truman and our volunteers all over the country are volunteering to help us connect those people and keep them connected to LSU, and at the same time raising money to go back to scholarships to bring area students from these areas back to LSU. Yeah. So the New York chapter, for example, has in the past donated to those funds to a scholarship to bring students from the New York area to LSU. Cities all over the country do this, and it's really, really rewarding when you're at these events and they're introducing their scholarship recipient from the last year at their next crawfish boil to say, this is why we're here, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. And students that, out-of-state tuition is high, and it helps them, it helps pave their way to LSU, which they may not have had the opportunity before.
Sally Steele, Truman Van Veckhoven of the LSU Alumni Association. Sally's with the LSU Alumni Association. Truman is the chapter president here in New York City. All right, favorite Jayden Daniels moment from the season. Sally, ladies first.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I can pinpoint just one.
Everyone's kind of... everyone's kind of having those issues.
Yeah, the whole season has just been incredible to watch him. I mean, it gives me the chills to think. I was actually here in 2019 watching Joe Burrow here, and it's the same excitement. I was saying we literally got off the plane and came straight here. I have my suitcase under the table, and I just said, when I got off the plane, I was like, we get to do this again. Like, this is incredible for LSU, for Louisiana, for everybody, especially for Jayden. I can't even imagine how he's feeling right now.
I think it'll probably start to sink in a little bit for him tomorrow, for sure. What about you, Truman?
That kid, Jayden. It is. It's tough to pinpoint one. Just anytime that he breaks a pocket and runs like a gazelle. Yeah. And you see these defenders, and, these are world-class athletes, some of the best in the country in the SEC, taking bad angles on this guy. And they just, it's really fun to watch.
Not only is he going to win himself a Heisman Trophy, he made himself a lot of money this year, too. We're excited about tomorrow. Sally, Truman, thanks so much. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for having us and letting us piggyback on this event as well.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all being here.
It's our pleasure. It is After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, you can call 924-2020. No matter your age or your refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center can help. Dr. Blake Williamson, he's the best. Told you my story. I had LASIK 5 years ago. Best decision ever made. Wish I'd done it 10 years sooner. For whatever your reservation may be, you probably know someone who has said that. Best decision I ever made. Wish I'd done it sooner. Take the leap. Just go for that consultation with Dr. Blake at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. All right, a report from Nick Underhill. Derek Carr has cleared concussion protocol and will start for the New Orleans Saints on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. When we wrap up, I will give you a quick preview and prediction for Saints-Panthers and some final thoughts here from legends for our Heisman preview show. Glad you're aboard with us. It is a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Stick around.
AFR.
Hey, if you are looking for something to do tonight in Baton Rouge, Pluckers is always a great option. Either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. I know there's state championship games going on back in the Dome. My beloved Bears, Calic High, going to get it done tonight against Acadiana. You need a place to watch. You can get on by Pluckers. No doubt they'll have all the games on TV. Army-Navy tomorrow. If you're back home and you want to watch the Heisman ceremony with a bunch of other Tiger fans, you can do it at either Pluckers location. Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, and delivery. Remember, you can always punch up Uber Eats and DoorDash. That's kind of been my Sunday game day ritual. That's kind of the nature of what happens during football season. I end up eating Pluckers every Sunday, and then I end up gaining a lot of weight. But it's so worth it. Find your favorite wings at Pluckers, either location. You can have them delivered right to your door, or you can go enjoy watching games with other fans at Pluckers. 2 locations. It's Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
countryside.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR. Of course, we appreciate Don Juan Cigar Bar, title sponsor of our Friday shows all throughout the year. Give you some final thoughts on Jayden and the Heisman. I want to get to a thought on the Panthers and Saints, though, real quick. Obviously, our coverage is totally centered around Jayden and the Heisman Trophy, but the Saints will play on Sunday. Saints in the Dome on Sunday against the Panthers. Saints at 5-7, Panthers at 1-11. Carolina's the worst team in the league. The Saints, by win-loss record, a game behind Atlanta, but we know that because of the tiebreaker, Saints are actually third in the division right now. So while I don't ever like to call something a must-win until it is a literal must-win, like if you don't win, you're out of contention for the playoffs. If you don't win, your season is over. That is a must-win. Without being that, this is as close to that as can possibly be, because if you lose this game and fall to 5-8 and lose another division game, you would have to win out and get to 9-8 and hope that Atlanta and Tampa Bay both finish at 8-9. And Atlanta at 6-6 would have to go 2-3 over their final 5 to fall below 500. So you'd have to win out, and they'd have to go 2-3 in their final 5. I mean, first of all, the Saints, it's impossible for me to imagine them winning out. They just haven't shown the consistency all year to do that. That's how you become a 500 team. It's the one step forward, two step back, two step forward, one step back. You never string together wins. This is how the Saints season has gone. Win, win, loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, win, loss, loss, loss. That's the nature of a bad team. So now you've lost 3 in a row. And really, the loss in Atlanta is unforgivable, considering the way you dominated the yardstick and threw up on yourself in the red zone repeatedly. The loss in Minnesota was one that was entirely gettable. And then you completely laid down with your season on the line against Detroit. Now, last Friday, I picked the Lions because I went through the game and said there's not a single matchup on the field where I like the Saints. The Lions' offense is great. The Saints' defense isn't playing good. The Saints' offense isn't very good. The Lions' defense isn't very good. So how do you match that? The home field advantage for the Saints, what used to be this vaunted dome field advantage, is gone, as the Saints are a sub-500 team at home. They're 2-3 at home right now this season. There's nothing on the field where you look and say, check mark Saints. And so it was impossible to pick New Orleans a week ago. On the flip side, Carolina is the worst team in the NFL. There's not a thing that you would look at and say, yep, Carolina has the edge there. This is a bad football team. They're 30th in the NFL in passing yards. They're 26th in the NFL in rushing yards. They're 29th in scoring at under 16 a game. They're 31st in scoring defense, second to last in the NFL in scoring defense. The problem with Carolina, though, or maybe the problem for New Orleans, is Carolina's blowout losses have come at the hands of good teams. Carolina went to Detroit and lost 42-24. Carolina went to Miami and lost 42-21. Carolina played Dallas and lost 33-10. That's been their lopsided losses, have been against the really good teams they play this year. The Saints aren't a good team. And when you look at how this plays out, I mean, look, they even played in Carolina in week 2. It was a 20-17 game on Monday Night Football. They have played close games against bad teams on their schedule. The Bears, they went on the road to Chicago and lost 16-13 with Tyson Bagent at quarterback. I mean, that's evidence of what Carolina is. They've gotten bullied by the good teams, and they've played close games and lost to the bad teams. So the Saints are certainly not a good team, but even a week ago against Tampa, they lost 21-18. I think it's why when you look at this game, and although it's in New Orleans, the line is 6. there's not a spot on the field where you would favor Carolina, and if you're giving the Saints 3 points for home field, they're basically telling you, neutral field, this is a field goal game, which is what it feels like. This feels like it's going to be a close game because the Saints have struggled to stop anybody, and similarly, the Saints have struggled to finish drives. And Carolina's defense is not very good, and I know the injury report is kind of what it is. Derek Carr is expected to start. Pete Werner, Cam Jordan, Blake Grupe, all questionable for this game. Hayden Hurst and Deshaun Williams are out for Carolina. Other than that, they've gotten a little healthier. I just don't know that I look at this game and have a tremendous amount of confidence in New Orleans to control it for 4 quarters. So I think this is going to be a really close, low-scoring football game. If you were going to give me Carolina in 6, I would take it. The total in this game is 38.5. They're basically telling you both these offenses stink. Even though the defenses stink, the offenses stink more. You're going to look at a game in the upper teens, low 20s. I will reluctantly, with very little confidence at all, pick New Orleans to win this game 21-17, but it would not surprise me one iota if Carolina comes and punks New Orleans, gets their second win of the season, and ends the Saints season. If New Orleans loses this game, that has got to be it for Dennis Allen. They just cannot justify keeping him any longer than that. Okay, that'll do it for us from here at Legends. Heisman tomorrow. We'll be back from 5 to 7 Central, and we'll look for you then. Have a great night. It's AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. If you need to buy tires, buy the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. That's Shawbill's. Get to Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service. You can log on. Go to the website, ShawbillsTire.com. They got a mobile site as well. Just pull it up on your phone, ShawbillsTire.com, CHABILLS, ShawbillsTire.com. You can shop tires by the make and model of your vehicle, so you know which tire you need, which size you need, all that sort of stuff. And you can look at all the great promotions that they have there as well, all the dealer specials and how they'll work hard to find you the cheapest price possible on the best tires on the road. So if you're traveling this holiday, you want to make sure that your family's protected. Make sure you get all the auto service that you need, oil change, tire rotation, balancing, squeaky brakes, check engine light. Take care of all that at Shawbill's, and, of course, name brand tires at wholesale prices. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.